This is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little boogeyman.
All right. Coming down the aisle, your podcast tag team champions of the world, Boomer and Blaze.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And before we get started, first off, I want to apologize for last week. Adult life got in the way and we were unable to record, but we are back, and I want to share that we have reached a milestone. Did you know that, my co-host?
Oh,
yes.
What milestone did we reach?
Now, this is for us. For people that have listened a long time, you know this show started off as the Rage and Blaze Show, and then now it has incarnated into the Boomer and Blaze Show. For us, for Boomer and Blaze, this is episode 30. How about that?
Wow, we've done 30 episodes already.
Episode 30, and you haven't hit me with a chair yet, so I must be doing okay. Is that how that?
Well, in fairness, I just got done. Oh, that's another thing. I have finally put up every single episode of the Rage and Blaze Show on YouTube. I have also put up one episode of our Boomer and Blaze Show, so I am now on to our current iteration.
Nice.
And I can tell you, after I combined all of our part ones and part twos to just one long episode.
Yes.
Me and Rage recorded 37 different pay-per-views.
Oh, okay. So getting real close to 70 total then, as far as pay-per-views. That's a lot.
Yes. Yeah,
That's a lot.
We did 37. Now ours were a lot of part one, part twos.
Yes.
So we recorded, I think, 70 some altogether.
Yeah.
Because we did a lot of parts.
Yeah.
But once I condensed them, it turned out to be 37 or 36, something along those lines.
And by the way,
we've done 30, so
that's actually a reason too that we've missed a few episodes, because we prefer to do our episodes in one shot. So if scheduling happens to where we can't do it, we just prefer to not do it than to try to do part one, part two. We like to do it all at one time. You know, that's the way we like to do it. So
in fairness, we could totally record like part of it, like maybe at the beginning of the day we record this part where we talk about current wrestling and all that, and then actually watch the show later, and I could still combine them so we're not doing parts.
True.
We could do that.
We could when necessary, for sure. You might notice my new behind me this week. I got my nerd cabinet done up, so it's behind me in the background here. It's my homage to Hulk Hogan on the top, even though I know you hate him. It's fine, but
I mean, pick better idols, but yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Got a little DX on this week. Got the shirt going, so see, we're rolling right along there. So
I'm rocking this Venom shirt that I just got from my mother.
I can't even see you this week. I don't know what you're doing different, but I can't see you. I can hear you. I just can't see you. All I see is the.
You can't see?
Nope. No, all I see is our cover art there. I don't see you this time. No.
Huh.
Which is weird.
I see you just fine. Well, let's see if we can. One second.
Yeah, you're just not up there. Now I see you. Yeah, now I see
me.
you. But hey, now I can see you. Hey, there he is.
Oh,
all right.
Maybe your screen's just too small and it doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm
usually
able to see you. You're like
usually it still shows you, but it's fine. Like I can hear you, so it's.
Well, why don't you show off your cabinet again now that we have you in the big?
This you like it? If we take it up there, just do a little zoom in. I know you don't like Hawk, but I have a lot of. It's not all wrestling though, which would surprise you. But I got a Batman shelf.
I see Skeletor.
Yeah, I got some Skeletor. I got a Batman shelf, so.
There's nothing wrong with some Batman.
Good stuff. No, not at all. That's for sure. All right. Well, let's see where to begin. Let's start off with some sad news. I shared a TikTok with it. I shared it on our Facebook page. We lost superstar Billy Graham this week, just
Uh,
yesterday, as a matter of fact. So, and I wish,
this,
as big as a wrestling fan as I am, I I didn't see a lot of Billy Graham, but to be fair, it was before our time, before both of our times. I mean, to
yeah,
be
I
fair.
don't.
But I do know that Hulk Hogan was actually influenced by superstar Billy Graham. That was one of his influences when he got in the business, and he still did a lot for the business. It was just before our time, So
Right.
I, I but it's still sad to hear it. It's still somebody who was a major part. He was actually the guy that made Vince fall in love with that type of wrestler. Like Billy Graham was the first, huge superstar that was chiseled and looked like. And if you think about it, if you really look at Hulk Hogan and Billy Graham, there's a young picture of him. You can see where Hulk Hogan got his influence from Billy Graham, for sure.
Yeah.
So sad to hear of his passing. Just happened yesterday. Uh, Not a part of my childhood in particular, but definitely a part of the history. I mean, that's the old. That might even be the old WWF title, like way back in the day that he's holding right there. I'm not for sure, but
Ooh, man.
so yeah, sad to hear about that. Um, and yeah, yeah, prayers go out to his family. Like I said,
It's it's.
I
I
wish I
wish I
saw him
could say
more, but
more, but
I can't either. I don't.
I think I've heard of his name, but I mean that's well before my
It was
time,
well before
and
both of our times,
and it's
even
also
growing
well
up.
before. It's well before WrestleMania, so that like he didn't
Yeah,
show up at
I mean,
any of our WrestleManias. So
no.
you
So it
know,
was
I
even before. Yeah,
I can tell you that I've only seen bits of one wrestler before WrestleMania.
yeah,
And
yeah.
do you know who that would be?
No, quiz
Well,
me.
he faced he faced someone who we just had a year anniversary or an anniversary of his death.
Oh, really? Andy Kaufman faced Billy? Or are you
No,
just
no, no,
talking
no,
about?
no, 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 no. I'm not talking about Billy. I'm talking
Oh,
about I've seen clips of Andy Kaufman and what he
right.
did
Okay,
back
okay.
then with Jerry the
Gotcha.
King Lawler.
Yes, one of the most
Um,
famous stories ever in wrestling. That's for sure. Yes, it was the anniversary
yeah.
of his death the other day, and yeah, I did a tribute for that as well. Andy Kaufman, though, it wasn't just. I think we both agree with him. It wasn't just with the wrestling with Jerry Lawler. Like Andy Kaufman was hilarious. He was
Oh, I
such a funny
love.
man. Like I loved Taxi. I watched a lot of Taxi when I was a kid. His stand-up stuff was great. We talked about the shticks he used to
Oh
do.
yeah.
Of course, Taxi kind of ruined his stand-up for him a little bit. But yeah, Andy Kaufman was
It did.
he was on a whole nother level. He did go in the Hall of Fame this year, which was well deserved.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, if you guys didn't look it up, like Andy wrestled several matches, and his big thing was going around wrestling the women back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Way before we had intergender matches. You see that stuff now, but yeah, he was wrestling the women back in the day. So Andy did a lot. He was a trailblazer for sure. Very
Oh, I
unique
loved it.
individual, but yeah,
I'm fascinated by Andy Kaufman. His humor was uh, one of a kind. I don't think we've ever seen anyone with the style and I don't know, grace. Maybe I don't know if grace is the right word for Andy Kaufman, but we've never seen that type of comedian.
no,
I don't
not
think
at all.
since or before. Like,
Or probably ever
uh,
again. Not on that same level that Andy was on. That's for sure.
but I've looked into a lot of his, and I even did when I was in college. I even did I had a speech class or whatever it was. You know, it was public speaking, learning that kind of
R-
stuff, and we
right.
had to like do a presentation, and I did a whole presentation on like Andy Kaufman and the history of Andy Kaufman, and because he was before my time. Like he passed away when I was maybe two. I think
You
he
know
died
what?
in 1984.
Yeah. And actually, something
Eh,
that's pretty cool. Here I go. I'm gonna like start showing off my collectibles again, but this is kind of cool. It's Andy Kaufman related in a way. I actually have this Jerry the King Lawler figure, and I don't know how well it'll show up, but this is actually autographed. I got this done in person at a Monday Night Raw, so I don't know how well that'll pick up, but it's actually signed by Jerry the King Lawler.
Oh,
And
that's cool. That's
yeah, I was
cool.
sitting at ringside at a Monday Night Raw, and I waited the entire show to say, "Hey King, will you sign my action figure?" And he did. He was actually a nice guy. So yeah, that's pretty
That's
cool to
awesome.
have. Yeah. And yeah, it's not, there's no certificate showing it's the real deal, but I got it done myself, so I know it is, so I don't care about that. It's not like I'm going to sell it. So yeah, all right. Well, Billy Graham, Andy Kaufman, two greats. I guess I should throw you a little heads up before I change subjects all the time, but I think we're going to talk some XFL. So if you need a second to pull any of that
XFL.
up, we're going to
Go
talk some
ahead and get to
XFL.
you
Let's
get talking. I'll get the
let's
picture.
let's start with the MVP if you can find that first. We'll talk about the MVP of the XFL this year. And by the way, it's been all over ESPN that several guys from the XFL have made it and gotten contracts to the NFL. So congratulations to all those players. That's really what part of this is a way for these guys to either find their way in the NFL for the first time or go back to the NFL. They may not be starters, but AJ McCarron was a guy who went backwards because he wanted his kids to see him play. Some of these other guys, they might want to go to the NFL and make that money. But yeah, here we go. So here are your champions, the Arlington Renegades. And I kind of love this. Now, some people complain, but think about this. It's kind of cool that a team that I don't even think they had a winning record. I think they were below 500 or they were right there, and they ended up being the champions. I kind of like that can happen. Some people complain, but you only had the two divisions, and the top two teams went no matter what their records were. It was the best records. So the underdogs actually, won.
Yeah, it's a very crazy situation.
DC was the best team all year long, but it only takes one game any given Sunday. And yeah, congratulations to
Yeah,
the Renegades. Today they actually announced the draft for next year already for the XFL, so it is coming back. We are actually going to get a second season, which has never happened before. So
so so I am curious. How does a draft work in the XFL?
I didn't get to watch all of it this past time, but it's very similar to the NFL draft. I mean, each team get picks, and you pick your players. It's very
I
similar to the
understand that,
NFL.
but
The
where are
difference
they?
being that
What's the
some of the
draft pool? I mean,
right, well, some of them are college players that didn't make it to the NFL draft. Some of them are former NFL players. Some may be guys that never played professional ball at all. Um, so that's how the draft works. Where they find them, they have tryouts is what they do. Before the draft, they have tryouts all over. I think they had it in one central location, but they do tryouts first and then decide who gets to go into the draft. So that's how they do it. They scout the talent themselves and hold tryouts and then decide who is eligible for the XFL draft. So that's how that goes.
I see.
But the Renegades ended up being the champions, but the MVP is our boy. There it is. Congratulations to AJ, the former Bengal MVP of the year. There you see his numbers on the screen. And that's pretty
Yeah,
good numbers. That's pretty good numbers. 134, 67% completed, 15 touchdowns. He actually set some XFL records, which I find funny since, there's only been like two and a
two
half
seasons,
seasons.
two full seasons. Yeah, it's hard to
Right.
really gauge what's good numbers in the XFL
And
because
actually, I don't think that they
we're
took
just
it.
starting.
Right. I don't think they took any. I think all the records for now, they're not counting anything from the past. The second time it came back, it wasn't even a full season. Let's face it, the first time it was kind of horrible. Like the first time
Yeah,
Vince, I remember it well. I remember that first season when Vince tried it out, and it was just too over the top. He tried to make
it
it
was
too much like wrestling and not enough like football. But I will tell you, if you watch the documentary about it, they did a 30 for 30 on the XFL. A lot of the stuff the NFL uses now they stole from the original XFL, like the cameras on the field and things of that nature. They actually got from Vince and from the XFL way back in the day. So, but
great. At least it helped
congratulations.
make
Yeah,
the
it made the
NFL
NFL
better.
better. Yeah, they stole what worked, and I can't hate on them for that, but
Ignored all the things that did not.
right. Now, what I'm interested to see is if anybody will make any kind of offers to AJ, because I don't think AJ's interested in going back unless it would be a starting job, and I just don't see that happening, right
I
now.
don't.
He
I
wants
don't
his
know if there's
kids.
a team.
No, and he loved it so much because he wanted his kids to see him play football. So I don't see him leaving at
He got
all.
to he got to show himself to his kids, and also, by the way, win an MVP.
Right. And
But
let's
just
face it,
wanted to show his kids, like, I'm a starter here.
if the XFL is going to stick around and stay, you don't want all the players to leave anyway. You need faces of the XFL. You need people that are going to be there.
Absolutely.
And
And
AJ
it
could
sounds
be
like
one of those.
the face.
Yeah, he could
Yeah,
be one of those
absolutely.
faces.
And those are good numbers. And wasn't he injured for part of the year?
Yeah, he was. He was. But there's things like the Seattle Dragons quarterback got taken by the Broncos, but he probably won't be the starter. I mean, that's just the thing right there. But if he's never been to the NFL, I don't blame you for wanting to go and get a taste of that. I mean, you can't hate either way. I respect
Well, I
AJ for
mean,
his choice. I respect the other guys if they choose to go to the NFL. No hate, that's for sure.
even as a third string, though, he's probably making
Oh, you're going to make more. Yeah.
way more
Yeah.
as a third string quarterback
Exactly.
in the NFL than what you were. Because it was a huge drop off. It was $4 million for McCarron to be. Was he just a second string or
something like that?
Or third?
Yeah, and he took a $60,000 contract to to play in the XFL. But
compared
he was
to
like
$4 million. So it's a pretty big.
AJ's like,
big difference.
I got plenty of money. I don't need to. I'm not worried about that.
His backup career was good enough to.
Right.
But yeah, no, I get it.
And they did give the networks were apparently happy with the viewership for the championship games. So far everything looks like we are a go for a second season, and I hope it sticks around a lot longer than that. I am all about having football all year around, and I think the XFL. I'm interested to see if they'll talk expansion yet. It may be too soon. They may want to wait another season before they talk about. Because you got to remember the other different thing about the XFL is there's no team owners. Like all the teams are owned by the league, so that could be a factor too. But congratulations, AJ. Congratulations to the Renegades. Good stuff.
Just waiting for an Ohio team, and then I'll.
Right.
I think I'll engage into the XFL a lot more.
Right.
Once we get a hometown team to root for.
Or somebody a little closer, maybe.
Or even Kentucky. Shoot.
Right. Just somewhere a little closer.
Kentucky don't have any good teams other than college, so let's get one to Kentucky. I'll root for a Kentucky team, maybe.
Yeah. See, I'm the one that said that. I still think if they try to go places that don't have professional football, or maybe never had it, like St. Louis was so popular because St. Louis has always been a football town, but they haven't had an NFL team for years, So I would definitely try to look into that kind of stuff if I was the XFL. So
absolutely.
Congratulations.
With Columbus in Ohio, Columbus doesn't have a
but those crazy Buckeye fans always say we don't need an NFL team. We have the Buckeyes, By the way, we're recording at night tonight, and of course we don't record in person anymore, and I don't have to drive anywhere. So let's hope this doesn't turn into your other podcast, Drunk Like Me, because cheers, I can have a drink while I'm recording the podcast. So I just thought I'd try Wait a minute. Yeah.
Are we drinking? I can go grab something.
I'm drinking. It's my day off, so I thought and it's nighttime, so yes, I am having a cold one.
It was a rough day. If you didn't notice, I did not get done early.
No, you did not. Yeah. It's not a Steve Weiser, but I am having a cold drink, yes. I don't have to drive, so.
Maybe at break I might be grabbing me one. Well,
there you go.
We'll make this a drunk podcast. Shit.
Speaking of that, I haven't got a hold of it yet, but believe it or not, close to me now that I live here in Hillard, I can actually purchase Stone Cold's beer, but of course I did not like his IPA. I tried it, wasn't my thing. No. But there is a carryout near me that sells his lager, which should be more like a Budweiser, more like a typical beer, but I have not been able to get a hold of it yet because they've been sold out. But as soon as I get a hold of it, I will definitely share that.
That doesn't excite me because I don't like typical Budweiser or anything like that.
And see, I do drink.
He comes out with a dark beer or a red beer, and then I can definitely be giving that a try.
Those are two things I like too. I just feel like his IPA is too citrusy, and that's not my thing. I thought it was kind of hoppy. But
I wasn't big on his IPA either. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, but if
neither
you never know,
those are any of my interests. So you bring up one of my other podcasts. Speaking of my other podcast,
yes,
I just today I decided to have a revelation, and I think I'm going to bring back my trivia podcast.
Nice.
Steven hosts Internet Trivia, otherwise known as shit. You didn't catch that, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, are you even aware of my trivia podcast?
We've talked about it. That's one I have not. I never listened to that one, but
So,
I do know of it.
so first off, I'm going to try to do this differently. Um, I mean, I may try to get people I know to join, but I was struggling getting people I know to. I got a few, but I'm going to start looking at like in podcast groups and stuff like that. I've already got two people that said they were interested and down. My trivia podcast definitely takes inspiration. My intention is that it's going to take inspiration from You Don't Know Jack, one of my favorite trivia games,
Gotcha,
and the
gotcha,
fact that you got a host that's very snarky and insults you for your wrong answers. You know what I mean?
gotcha.
It's really
Yeah, I follow you there.
fun times. Uh,
Following you.
Almost like Dick's Last Resort if it's as a trivia.
Right,
Um,
right.
but I do it with 4 different rounds. Normally, it's all pop culture related. I do one round that's movie and TV. I do one that's music. I do one that is games, sports, video games, stuff like that. And then I do one that is like I think they call it potpourri and Jeopardy, where it's just it will be a different subject every time. The other three
Gotcha,
I have
gotcha.
every time. I stick to those 3 categories, but then I'll maybe add a science category, or like when I did trivia with my daughter and my niece. They're both big horror fans, so I did a horror category for them.
Gotcha.
Because I knew that would be fun to watch them go after each other. You know what I'm saying? But
Exactly, exactly.
the big things that I did do is my know your shit round. Okay, after those main 4 categories, I have a know your shit round. And on the know your shit round, I asked both contestants, or 3. I might do 3 contestants if I can find enough people. Each person gives me a category that is specific to them. Okay?
Gotcha.
So, for example, you could be like, I want a whole category on Hulk Hogan. So, all the
Gotcha. Yeah.
questions will be Hulk Hogan or
Gotcha.
Star
Yeah.
Wars. Or, you can make it as specific as you want, or you could say, I want wrestling. Now, if you go with wrestling, you could, if you're not specific, I might give you a question from the 1950s wrestling.
Right,
So,
right.
you give me a category that's specific, and that's your round, okay? And then you get the chance to answer those questions first. If you do not know the answer and you get it wrong, your opponent gets a chance to steal.
Gotcha.
They get the chance to steal at double points if they outright know it, or for I can't remember if I did half points. I'll have to look back at my old podcast. Or you can ask for multiple choice and you get it for this just normal points.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
they get it. They get a chance. You don't get a chance for if it's your round. You do not get a chance for the multiple choice. And then
Gotcha.
Then my finale. I still need to come up with a name. I think for my finale, but I give you 4 possibly clued category names. I tell you each category, and they might be some kind of clue to it. And you have to take every single one of your points and bet on all 4 categories. You can choose to even them out. Say you have 100 points, put 25 on each category.
Right.
Or maybe this category sounds like something you're more than likely to know. Maybe I mentioned Bowser, so you're like, oh, that's probably going to be Mario Brothers. You put 100, you put all your points on that. Or you put 50 points. You get to distribute your points however you want. The catch is you have to put all your points on the line. So there's no like, you'll have some. You could get all 4 wrong and you'll lose all your points.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
Interesting.
so it's a little bit more of an interesting. I think I talked with a trivia host about it. He suggested that idea. I love that finale idea. That's that's how my trivia format is. I know I've always wanted to get you on sometime and in like a wrestling a wrestling themed episode.
They don't want none.
I even had plans that if I do it, that one category or one round would be, the Attitude Era. One round would be the Golden Era, or one would be the current era. Each round would be specific to an era of wrestling. Okay.
Gotcha.
And then you would pick like a wrestler that you want to have your person, or something wrestling themed.
Right.
Maybe you'll be like, I want WrestleMania trivia as my know you my shit round.
Gotcha.
So
yeah.
I think that would be fun sometime. Find you an opponent to do a wrestling trivia, and with this Riverside, and now I have the option to put these pictures and everything on. I can put the questions up on the screen for everybody playing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
It should be a lot of fun.
For sure. Nice.
So anyways, I was thinking about it today, and I was like, I want to bring it back. And I think I might bring it back for like once a month. I don't want to do that weekly.
Right.
That's a lot of work. I gotta
be a lot.
I gotta come up with questions by myself. I'm gonna Photoshop everything before I set up. There's a lot of setup work that I'm gonna have to do before I can do this. But plus, I'm gonna need to put in a lot of jingles while I do all that. Maybe make it live. We would do it live.
yeah. You never know. For sure.
But anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. I was thinking about bringing that back.
Speaking of interesting things, before we get into, we got a ton of wrestling. We missed a week. We'll have to cover Backlash, and we got a bunch of other. I have AEW stuff. I got wrestling out the wazoo, but you actually threw something to me that you wanted to share, and I'll tell you right now that I did not watch this commercial yet. So I'll give you a second here to look this commercial up. I wanted to wait until we were on the show so you could get my first reaction. I did Google it, and I can tell something's going on because all you got to do is put in Miller Lite, and it pops up. So there's apparently a Miller Lite commercial that they're claiming is not a response to Bud Light, but I guess people feel differently. All I did was read like some of the controversy, but I have not seen the commercial. I wanted to wait until we got on the show here so you could get my live reaction to it, I guess. So
yeah,
but you've seen it.
I gotta find the actual commercial and make sure it's the right. Make sure.
Gotcha. Do you feel?
I think I found it.
Think you found it? Think you found it. Now, do you feel like this is definitely a response to the whole Bud Light situation? Before we even play, I know we're getting ready to play it, but I just wondered if that's what you think.
No,
I
don't think so.
I have not seen it yet. I don't know. I know it's a supposed woke commercial, I guess.
Okay. So we'll just break this down right now.
Okay.
I want you to see this, and I want you to tell me how this is woke.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what I read, but yes.
So I brought this to your attention.
Yes,
I was hoping you wouldn't Google anything, but I planned on showing this to you and then asking you questions about it. And because I'm baffled. I'm baffled that this is controversial.
Yeah. Well, it'll still be the same. It'll still be the same because, like I said, I have not seen it, so I'm not quite sure exactly what all the hype is. But
here we go. All right.
Okay, here we go. Let's do it.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms, push out beautiful fertilizer. That good helps farmers grow quality hops,
which is then donated to women brewers to make their own really good
But there's definitely more out there. In your attic, in the garage, in your parents' basement. Send any you got into Miller Lite, and they'll turn that into good too. So here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
Back all the bad shit we could find. Oh my. The good shit. Oh, listen.
Sorry.
It's fine. We're just watching something else. Don't worry about it. Okay, well, that's definitely not. Look, it's hilarious. I'll tell you that. I think it's funny as hell.
It was funny.
I love it.
It's absolutely funny.
That's a great commercial.
This people are trying to claim as woke. How is that woke?
It's not.
It's
woke.
like every time. It's like, oh my gosh, how fragile is your fucking ego?
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Oh my god, they're talking about women and wanting them to be positive role models. I had some jackass on a site say that we need to boycott Miller Lite because we got to protect the children. What does that have to do with children?
Nothing.
Unless you want to say that all beer commercials need to be gone because,
It's hilarious, funny commercial, and they just knew that it was going to stir the pot and get people going, and I think it's hilarious. I love that commercial. Are you kidding me?
It's a great commercial. I love it.
We took the bad shit and turned it into good shit. Yeah, now everything I read doesn't make any sense. I just want you to know that. I read all that crap online. None of it makes sense. None of it. It's just a funny commercial.
No, it doesn't. That's why I wanted to bring it to your attention. Because I'm like, I was like, I saw something was like on my Facebook. It's like, Miller Lite's gone woke. And I'm like, okay. I was like, what did they do now? Well, now what are we pissed off about? What are you pissed off about? Because I'm super fucking confused.
Me too. It's just a funny ass commercial. Like that could have been a Super Bowl commercial. It was so funny.
I'm surprised it wasn't a Super Bowl commercial.
Well, let's be honest. So it's not a direct shot at Bud Light, but that's kind of where the idea came from. I know it has nothing to do with the Bud Light situation, but it's just the general.
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
We're taking bad shit, turning it into good shit. It's kind of just a general shot. I don't know. I think it's funny, though.
Only slight argument you can make, and this I think would be more on the train of conservatives being happy about it.
Yeah.
The only way you could see that as a slight to Bud Light is like, well, this is about women. This is about real women and not, transgendered women. So that's the only way you can construe it. But if that was the case, wouldn't conservatives be happy? Because isn't that the whole thing?
Are conservatives ever happy?
Fuck no.
I didn't think so, but interesting. Yeah, there's nothing controversial. There's a funny ass commercial. That's the whole problem with the whole world. Things can't just be what they are. It's just a funny commercial.
That's
you know what I mean?
Bunch of damn fragile egos.
Like the Bud Light thing.
Shit.
The Bud Light thing was just a can given to somebody who has a lot of TikTok views. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here.
No, I was told that it was multiple cans to that one person. But still,
the point is, things can't just be what they are. Everything has to be some kind of controversy. Way to go, Miller Lite. That's a genius. That commercial's funny.
It was a great campaign. That's all I can tell you. Great campaign. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and
I saw that.
I don't even drink Miller Lite, but that's one of my favorite lines now. We have to turn bad shit into good shit. Great stuff.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I watched that, I think last night, and I was like, wait, this is what we're pissed off about? Like, why? Like, what are we pissed off about? Unless you're, like, pissed off, all these sons of bitches are telling us we can't look at women in bikinis. Oh, it's woke shit.
Yeah, it's woke.
Is that really? I mean, sure, that was mentioned too, but
yeah,
that's
whatever.
It's like they get mad whenever somebody who is not white straight male has a different opinion or point of view.
Yeah,
a woman out there is showing her point of view, like, this is how you treat us. And they did.
And they did. All beer companies did. Yeah, that was.
Oh, it's 90s. I remember you went to the fair and you wanted a nice, sexy poster. A lot of it had a Budweiser, a Miller, or any kind of beer you can think of in a bikini.
Yes. Or in short shorts or whatever. Yeah, it was all. Yeah, that's all.
Which, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate.
Because that's called marketing. You sell beer to men, you put women in scat clothes. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. Let's not get all offended. It's genius. Come on, that's hilarious.
And you know what you do right there? You know what happens now? What happens is now you get women being like, okay, maybe that's. I mean, I don't know if this is really going to sway. I feel like by now, unless you're like just turning 21, if you haven't decided on your opinions on Miller Lite, I don't know if this is swaying you by now. But
right.
It might. I mean, that's not the point of these commercials.
It's supposed to be. You know what's funny is, and I guess maybe it's just the way I'm built, but no commercial has ever made me want to buy any. Maybe when I was a kid, toys did, but I don't drink anything.
Oh yeah, commercials.
I don't eat anything based on commercials. I don't drink my beer based on the commercials. That's just never how I've. When I was a kid, toys maybe, but now, no. I don't drink Budweiser because the Clydesdales were amazing. That's not, I'm just saying.
I don't know if there's ever been a beer commercial that's got me to say, I need to try that beer. And I think that's mostly because I have a particular taste in beer.
Right.
And most of my tastes are not commercials. However, I'd be lying if I didn't say that a commercial for some like good ass looking burger doesn't show up and I'm like, shit, I need to go there.
Yeah, see, it doesn't.
Looks delicious. I think it happened to me for Applebee's. I saw a commercial for like some ribs or something. I was like,
ooh, I need me some of that.
And it was on sale. I think it was, they were doing some kind of sale for it. I was like, I need to go.
I might need that.
Applebee's.
But like when I was a kid, like the
Noid shows up. It's salvo, like
Do you remember Avoid the Noid when we were a kid? That was the Noid was what Domino's or whatever. We never ate that pizza when I was a kid. I love the Noid though, but I couldn't get my parents to go buy Domino's just because I liked the character on TV. Like,
I played some of those games though.
Right? Oh yeah, they did have a few games. Yep. And like Happy Meals. Guess what? I wasn't that big of a McDonald's fan, but man, if I wanted that toy in that Happy Meal, then I did want to go to McDonald's.
Absolutely.
Not for the food though, for the toy that was inside the.
So they know how to get us.
Yeah,
they know how to get our young minds. Absolutely.
That's right, they do.
Yeah, toys definitely is
a good one. That's
if they were smart. Toys are definitely where you want to go.
And if you haven't noticed, toys can still get me, and I'm 43 years old. So, it doesn't matter. They still get me now. So whatever. All right. Well, I guess we should talk some wrestling, huh? We are a wrestling podcast. Do you have any other? Let's start with some. Let's start with some AEW. Do you have that graphic I sent you, the side-by-side one of the show that they announced?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
I do. One second, let me get you.
I'll talk a little while you pull that up. AEW finally announced their new show. Saturday Night Wrestling is coming back, baby. AEW Collision, and he's looking for this side-by-side picture. Now, there's no controversy about this. In fact, everything I read, most fans love that they did this. But you're going to see here in a second that AEW is definitely paying tribute to WCW with this new logo. And there you go. I mean, come on, the color schemes and everything. There has been no people online going, how could they do that? Everybody online's like, hell yeah, we love that. I mean, come on. That is definitely a nod to Monday Nitro. So there you see it, Saturday, June 17th. Here's the interesting storyline we get to get into, and you know how we were. Guess who's back in the headlines? Mr. CM Punk. And let's say why. Now, everybody I think heard, I shared it on our page, the big rumor was CM Punk was going to be part of the show. They were going to bring CM Punk back for this AEW Collision. That was the rumor. There's already a wrench in the works. He's not even back yet, and he's already starting shit. Go figure, right? AEW rehired Ace Steel. Ace Steel was the producer that Punk got into it with and talked crap about. Well, they brought him back, so now Punk is saying, how could you, So there's already controversy, and Punk hasn't even officially been brought back and may not be brought back. There was an early rumor that Warner Media was the ones that wanted Punk for this show, but he may not be coming back. He's already causing problems. Now I did get to see a video of Andrade, and Andrade has not been on AEW in a long time, and Andrade said he's making his return on the debut episode of Collision. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Punk. But yeah, drama already, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you want to bring him back if he's already complaining already, and you haven't even actually brought him back yet? Then why even mess with it? You know what I'm saying? Cut him loose and let him go. For goodness sakes, like, come on, man. You can't put your personal, like, look, you're telling me you've never, I bet everyone listening right now at some point in their life had to work with somebody they didn't like. I'm sure everybody's worked with somebody they hated before. I know I have, but it's work. When you're at work, you do your job. You don't have to like everybody. Make money. What is so hard
Right.
about that? You want to be the best in the world, then shut the hell up and just go to work. Like you were on top again, and then you had to run it. Now you're whining like a little baby again because they hired Ace Steel. Well, he's a producer, and none of us even knew who he was until you started running your mouth about him. And I'm still not even sure who the hell the guy is. So can we just like, just drop it? I mean, you can look back in the past and like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels hated each other. They put on some of the best matches ever. They hated each other legit. Put on some of the greatest matches ever. It's wrestling. Get over yourself,
True.
Punk. That's all I'm saying.
Even if one of them was a screw job, but
Right, but still, the point is, there's been plenty of wrestlers over the years that hated other people, and you came back and you're a big star. But look, AEW's done just fine without you. And guess what? If you don't come back, they're going to continue to do just fine without you. They're going into their 4th year now. They're getting ready to do a pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium. Like they're doing just fine without CM Punk. And by the way, I want to talk about their next pay-per-view that's coming up because I love the main event for this. So the next pay-per-view is Double or Nothing, and the main event for the AEW title is going to be a fatal 4-way, and it's going to be MJF defending against Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Jungle Boy. And I love the fact that that main event is a fatal 4-way with 4 guys who were built right there in AEW. They actually call them they call them the 4 pillars of the company, and I love that this is going to be the main event at the pay-per-view. And we'll see if MJF can come out on top.
There's one pillar that's sadly not part of that should be.
Britt Baker?
No.
Oh. Who should be part of that? Orange?
Freshly squeezed.
Orange? Speaking of Orange Cassidy, Orange is going to defend his title at the pay-per-view. He's still they switched it now to the, what's it called, the international title now. It used to be the All-Atlantic title. He's going to defend that in a battle royal at the pay-per-view. What do you think about that? He's putting his title on the line.
Okay, now I understand why he's not in that part.
But you know what? They've been treating his title more like a TV title than they do the TNT Championship, which is kind of surprising. Orange defends his title almost every week. It's kind of mind blowing. But yeah, he's going to actually defend his title in a battle royal at the pay per view. Yeah, so
a battle royal. That's an interesting. How often do you see that? How many men?
A 21-man battle royal, they said. So it's
21.
That's because
it's the champion and 20 competitors.
Yes, and of course AEW usually in these battle royals always ends up having somebody as a surprise entrance. So it'll be interesting to see who that'll be. And then of course now I'm excited about this too. Christian is going to challenge Wardlow for the TNT title in a ladder match. Who better to have in a ladder match than one of the masters of the ladder match?
Oh, absolutely,
Christian.
Yeah.
And I think that, there could be a shock because he is still the manager of Luchasaurus, and Luchasaurus is still bad. And as we all know in a ladder match, anybody can get involved because there's no disqualifications. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And then FTR is defending their tag titles against fucking Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. So there you go. Big return this week on Dynamite. Guess who's back? Karen Jarrett, because I know we all missed Jeff's wife, Karen. She showed up in AEW. So she is now getting TV time.
Did she want to go see a manager?
Yeah, well, she showed up and delivered a low blow to FTR. So, she did the old ball shot while they weren't looking.
Wow, you guys just did not catch that at all.
No. By the way, since we've missed a week, we didn't get to talk about this, but Jeff Hardy has returned and doing good so far. Hopefully, he's going to continue to stay, sober and be able to finish out his career like they wanted to. The Hardys want to do one last run together, but Jeff is back. Everything looks good so far, so we're going to see where that goes. I wish him all the best. I hope this time he can stay on track. That's what I'm hoping. So we shall see.
So I'm going to real quickly explain my joke. What is Jeff Jarrett's wife's name?
Karen.
I asked if she needed to see the manager.
Ha 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 ha. This guy. See, sometimes they go.
Oh my gosh.
Run over my head sometimes,
I hate it when I have to
My bad.
explain this shit. Damn it. It was right there and you just zipped right past you.
So that is, I think that's all my AEW news. Of course, they're still planning on having it all out at Wembley Stadium, but we have to wait to see. Double or Nothing is the next pay-per-view, so it's going to be a while before we hear any official announcements for that. By the way, though, they are doing the Anarchy in the Arena match, which is kind of like a street fight everywhere, and it's going to be the Elite against the Blackpool Combat Club. So the Elite are actually baby faces now, and the Blackpool Combat Club are the heels. So they've switched sides. Hangman returned this week and joined Omega and the Bucks. So they will be facing the Blackpool Combat Club at the pay-per-view. So
Oh, you guys aren't heels anymore? We can be friends again.
right, yeah. Hangman, I'm gonna come back because you guys are faces now. So I'm gonna come back and join you. Everything's fine. Yeah. So.
Baby, come back.
All right. Well, that's my AEW news for the week right there. That's all I got on that. And we can move on to WWE. And we have to cover just quickly. I know we're rambling a lot, but when we have to make up, we're gonna have to just talk about Backlash real quick before we talk about. Did you get to see Backlash?
I did.
Nice. Me too. And
I watched it. I believe I watched most of it the night it happened. Actually.
oh wow, I actually did not watch it until the next day. So
yeah, I watched about half of it. Actually, I think I watched all of it that same, because I watched it. So Backlash happened while I had the kids.
right.
But my daughter has started a summer job, so she was at work. Then my son works every Saturday night, so I was like, my son was at work. I watched some Backlash.
Watch some Backlash. Nothing wrong with that.
So yeah, I watched.
Yeah.
Watched it while he was working.
Yeah, I thought overall it was a good pay-per-view. Even though she did not win, I thought it was great that Selena Vega got that moment, in her with her friends and family and everybody watching. That was a really good moment for her. And I think one of my favorite parts of the night was the pop that Carlito got. That place went crazy when Carlito came out. That might have been one of the loudest.
It was
loudest.
Cool. I like me some Carlito.
Yeah.
Spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like it was just another one and done. It doesn't look like he's coming back, at least not for the moment, because unfortunately, while this merger is going on, since they've been purchased, like there's a freeze in the WWE right now, and they're not allowed to hire any new talent at the moment. Hopefully, that'll go away soon. So Carlito said as of now he's not coming back, but he sure would love to come back. I thought that was a very cool pop, and I got to say the main event shot. I expected Cody to win, but boy, I didn't expect it to be like that. Like Cody took care of business.
It was a brutal match. Brutal match. I loved it.
And a quick match.
It was a great match that, I like Brock to an extent. He's definitely not at Goldberg levels on how much I despise Goldberg. I like Brock. My biggest issue with Brock is when he's around the title, like, constantly. Which is weird because I love Roman as the champion. So, and he's had the title for years, but his storyline's been so good. I love the Bloodline story, and I think that's just all about story.
It is all about story.
It even makes sense as a heel that he would be champion. It's just, yes. I don't know.
And that whole thing, because I could not figure out, and I know I'm jumping around. By the way, Brock did legit get busted open, but that was planned. But the thing with Brock is Brock doesn't like to blade. So if they want Brock to bleed during a match, then Brock chooses the hard way. So he was supposed to get busted open, but he legit got busted open because Brock does not bleed. He was, he fought in the UFC. He's like, if I'm going to bleed, you got to bust me open. Like, I'm not doing a blade job. Ain't going to happen. Like, I'm doing it the legit way. But that also helped handle because when they started the World Heavyweight Title Tournament and it was Cody was in that, I'm like, how are they going to get, I didn't think Cody would win, but I'm like, how in the world are they going to get Cody out of this? Like, they're just going to let Cody lose clean. But of course, Brock attacked him during the match,
Yeah.
and that's how he got taken out of the tournament. So now they're going to have a rematch at Night of the Champions, which I'm like, okay, except for neither one of them are champions, but whatever, we can throw that in there. I thought it was supposed to be all title matches, but
It is supposed to be all title matches.
well,
I have
it's
a bit
not.
of feelings about that.
It's not all title matches because they are doing Cody and Brock
maybe just
too.
bring the 24/7 channel title back. Give it to one of them just so
Right.
it's official. So at least there's a title on the line. Then you can toss it back in the trash. Fuck it.
I mean, so far that's the only match that's been announced that's not a championship match. So I mean, it's still, you know what? It's still money, and it's part of the story. So we'll see what happens. Cody's got to finish his story eventually, right? So,
I don't
but I'm
think
with
I'm gonna
you.
hate the story, but it is Night of Champions. There's a reason I actually love this title. I like gimmick pay-per-views. Like, I like pay-per-views that there's a reason you have them.
Somebody actually made a joke though, because it's in Saudi Arabia, it's going to be on at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So they're like, "This is a Night of Champions. It's Day of Champions." But
Oh yeah, I forgot it's in Saudi.
Yeah. So it'll be nighttime there. It just won't be nighttime when it airs. That's all. So
yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm sure you saw when I shared on the page the big shock that Roman and Solo are going to take on Sammy and Kevin for the tag titles at Night of the Champions. It will not be the Usos. This could be more interesting plot coming up here, because I will tell you that I think the Usos are going to cost Roman and Solo that match. I could be wrong, but that's my call. Yeah, I think that the Usos have had enough of being talked down to by Roman, and I think this might be the match where they, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Could be interesting. That would be interesting.
I mean, they could also put the tag titles on Roman and Solo, but does Roman need another title? No.
No.
No. Also, they
already had to create a new one to get rid of one of them.
Right. Which we get at Night of the Champions too, and that's going to be AJ and Seth fighting for the world title. I saw them people online that complained about, well, how come the SmackDown stars will participate? Because it's easy. If AJ wins the title, he'll be on Raw. Why do you got to overthink things? Why wouldn't you include both brands so you can include everybody on your roster? It's not that complicated. If AJ wins, they'll put him on Raw. Get over yourselves. Like, what's... And that's a good match. I'm all about it. AJ and Seth for the title, sign me up. That's going to be a great match. I've missed AJ, man. AJ is definitely one of the best, for sure.
This might be my first pay-per-view I watched with that in Saudi Arabia.
But then on another note, they had a battle royal this past week to determine who was going to get a shot against Gunther for the Intercontinental title, and it's Mustafa Ali. So we're going to give the home. We're going to give the home.
Ali.
I guess I don't know.
You don't like Mustafa Ali?
It's not that he's horrible, but he's not been around enough. Like, I'm still kind of old school. You can't not be on TV all the time and not be wrestling on TV, and they throw you in a battle royal and you win, and now you get a title shot. It's just there's not been enough of Ali lately for me to be into Ali, I guess.
I guess I see your point, but
you know what I mean. I'm just kind of that. It'd be like
not gonna win.
But you never know. They could want to shock everybody. You never know. I don't think he will. I think they're gonna let Gunther pass Honky Tonk Man's reign and be the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. But we'll see. You never know. I don't totally hate it, and I'm fine because, again, it's a hometown person getting a title shot. Whatever. It's no different than giving it to Selena at Backlash. So I mean,
yeah, I think Gunther should get. I think Gunther should beat that record. I think Roman should lose that record of 1,000 days right before the record happens.
Well, that won't happen because the record happens at Night of Champions. The 1,000 days anyway is Night of Champions, and he can't lose it then. But that's not the record. Do you know who holds the record? Do you know who holds the record for the longest WWE title reign?
I do not.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother. It's Hulk Hogan. Roman has to surpass.
I thought it was technically Bruno Sammartino.
When Bruno had it, I believe it was the WWWF because Bob Backlund had it for like 8 years too.
Oh, okay.
But I think that's when
Yeah,
it still
'cause they held
had
titles like way back.
forever back then. But I think that's when it still had the other W, when it was WW. Because if you look it up, they even brought it up today on Facebook that Hogan held it for 1,450 days, I believe. That's when I was a kid. I thought Hogan had all these title reigns, and it wasn't that he had a bunch of them. It's just he had it for a very long time.
A long time, yeah.
Yeah, he only had the title like 2-3 times. It wasn't like he was an 8-time champion. He just had long reigns. So that'll be interesting to see. They also announced that Bianca and Asuka will have a rematch at Night of the Champions for the title. So maybe we'll see Asuka pick up the win, because now Bianca's set the record for the longest reigning Raw Women's champ. Yes, so maybe she'll go down at Night of the Champions. We'll have to wait and see.
Perhaps.
All right, well, we've done a lot of rambling. Do we have anything else? Well, besides, I know there's one other thing that we need to bring up, but besides that, besides our weekly feature, is there anything else that we need to discuss before we get into our favorite?
No.
All right. Well, then that means it's time for the Sheik Tweet of the Week, which I send ahead of time now, so that way he has it when we get on our show.
I do. Yeah, I just gotta find it.
Me too. Well, I gotta pull up it too. I'm not sure if I even picked a runner-up this week, but I know this guy loved the Sheik Tweet of the Week because he's a hater. So I know. So, but of course, so's the Sheik. So what can I say?
A proud hater.
Oh, here we go. I don't know why he said this, but here is the runner-up. I'm going to pick this for the runner-up this week. This week's runner-up for the Sheik Tweet of the Week is "Fuck the Pez dispenser." I don't know why he hates Pez, but apparently the Sheik does not like Pez dispenser. So there you go. Right. I don't know.
And what is the actual Sheik Tweet of the Week?
The actual Sheik Tweet of the Week is: give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime, unless he's that dumb son of a bitch jabroni, Hulk Hogan. So there you go. The Sheik Tweet of the Week. The Sheik does not like Hogan. Yeah, I can't blame him. Yeah, whatever. A lot of wrestlers didn't like Hogan, so. And you got to think about it. The Sheik literally was used just as a way to get the title off Bob Backlund and to put it on Hulk Hogan. So, whatever. I get it. But there you go. There's our Sheik Tweet of the Week. Very wise words from the Iron Sheik. So, all right. Well, we've rambled forever. We got our Sheik Tweet of the Weekend, and now we are ready to start our pay-per-view. And this week...
no, wait.
Whoa, oh, he's stopping me.
You have one other thing you wanted to talk about.
I did.
I don't understand, but you brought it up.
Oh, are you talking?
Set up. I have it set up right here.
Okay.
Now, much like the Miller Lite trailer, I did not watch the trailer for what you wanted to talk about. So you just now remembered?
Now I remember, yes. We're talking about the teaser trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's, which you said you know nothing about. I'm surprised it's a video game. But
I know of it. I know it's like a horror thing. Yeah. But I've never seen it. I don't know.
Imagine as a kid getting locked into Chuck E. Cheese overnight and all the animatronics come to life and try to kill you.
Wasn't there a Nicolas
Cage? Nicolas Cage's was definitely a knockoff of Five Nights at Freddy's, yes. The video game came out before Nicolas Cage's movie did, and now they're making a movie about the actual, yes. So it's, yes, if you saw that or you saw the trailer for that, it's similar. Same thing. It's about animatronics that come to life.
I wanted to see the Nicolas Cage one.
It was good. I can't even remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was good. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
I wanted to see it. I haven't watched it yet, but I do have the Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yes, Five Nights at Freddy's. Yes.
Trailer. I have not watched it, so this will be the first time I've seen it.
All right. Yeah, it's just a teaser, but.
So let me ask you this before we do this, but are you like a big fan of the game or something? Like what is there something in the trailer that you want me to see and that's why you wanted to bring it up?
No, I was going to bring it up because I've always been a fan of the game, so I'm just excited to see it.
So you are a fan of the game. Okay.
Yes, I'm a fan of the game. Yep. So that's all.
Cool. All right, let's check this out.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where fantasy and fun come to life. Hit it, guys. If you're watching this video, it means you've been selected as Freddy's newest security guard.
Hello?
We're going to have so much fun together.
So, like, legit a teaser.
Yeah, legit a teaser.
1 in 8 people have
But it's actually
it's
a very good, if you like horror video games, it's definitely a good one, for sure. Something I enjoy.
Maybe
So
I'll
I'm
have to check it out. I mean, the trailer looks. I like the one dude was on. I can't remember the name of it, but the main character there, I like him from Future Man.
yes.
But I think he's from something else.
Yeah, I think
that
he's
I
been
like
in a
it.
couple things. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a pretty
so-
popular actor actually, and I like him. And then I saw Shaggy, and I definitely like Matthew Lillard. So
Yes, you did. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one for sure. So
I was just surprised when you asked me that. You said I want to talk about this, and I'm just like, what? It's
yeah,
like,
just
I mean, I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. Well, like, okay. So, I mean, but you said it, so I got you.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to. I mean, anybody that's played the game is probably excited to see the movie. So I haven't played it in a while, but when it first came out, I was totally obsessed with that game. So there you go.
Never played it. I don't know how it's played. You know what? I honestly didn't know whether it was a game or a cartoon, but I've heard of it. Like
Yeah.
I'm aware of its existence, but I couldn't have told you it was a game or a cartoon or. I
Right,
knew there was a game on it. I just didn't know if that's like I didn't know where the origins were. I
right.
just have heard of it before.
Gotcha.
All right,
All
I'm
right.
ready to watch this pay-per-view if you
Now
are.
all right. Let's do it. We are watching King of the Ring 1997. Let's check it out.
Let's go, as stupid Tom Brady says in that Hertz commercial.
Boom, boom. All right, so before our first match, we get our little opening video package here, and of course, it's all talking about the main event, which is actually The Undertaker defending his title against Farouk, of all people, and it's talking about how, of course, if Farouk. Now, I forgot about this being a title match, but if you think about it, and I guess we don't know what's going to happen, but it'd be kind of cool, right? Because if Farouk won, that would make him the first black champion in WCW and the first black world champion in the WWE. Wouldn't that be interesting? And they talked about that. They actually pointed out that fact before the pay-per-view started. And then we get to our first match, and we are just having the semifinals and the finals in this pay-per-view, the King of the Ring. And our first semifinal match is Ahmed Johnson against Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The first thing I think both of us pointed out was the fact that, wow, the crowd was into Ahmed.
I don't understand it.
I'm sitting here going,
just don't
why
get
are we still dealing with Ahmed is what I'm sitting here thinking, but the crowd was all pumped. I mean, admittedly, we've kind of seen him get a little better, but it's just the old game of it. A lot of it has to do with who you're in the ring with. I mean, I thought his performance last pay-per-view was I believe it was Cold Day in Hell when he took on All of the Nation or whatever, and they did that whole shtick. And he looked pretty good in this match too, but you're in there with one of the greatest to ever step foot into a ring. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to look like crap when you're taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley, in my opinion.
It's happened. But
It can happen, yeah, but it's hard to do. But the crowd was into him, and this was actually a pretty quick match. It wasn't a bad match. It was just pretty fast, and I don't know. I mean, it was what it was. It was a fine way to. It was okay. It was a fine way to kick off the pay-per-view. Nothing too exciting. Just your basic. Ahmed got distracted by the beautiful China on the outside. He was either distracted by her beauty or the fact that she could probably whoop his ass. One or the other. One of those two things distracted him. I don't know
Freaking
which.
beauty.
Maybe, or he was
Freaking
scared.
beauty.
Either way,
Well,
he got distracted and got hit with that pedigree, and it was game over. Literally, game over.
so I decided to take a cue from my co-host Boomer here, and I got me some Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
It's a forget what kind. It's the watermelon Mountain Dew, and I mixed it with some coconut rum.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
By the end of this pay-per-view, we're going to talk about how great Ahmed is. Just wait, that's how it's going to change. He'll be like, Ahmed's not that bad, man. Ahmed.
I don't think alcohol brings out honesty. That's not happening.
That's not happening. Sorry, Ahmed. It's not going to happen.
There's no world where I'm going to be like, what? Ahmed is great.
They're great. No, that's not.
Not even Drunk Blaze is going to be like, that's great.
That's great. Yeah, no, that's not. It's not going to happen.
I'm so sad we didn't see. I'm so sad that Hunter Hearst Helmsley won instead of Ahmed Johnson. Oh,
right. It is kind of like you asked me right away, and again, this is going back to the theme pay-per-view thing, right? And it's kind of disappointing because they did some of these matches on Raw, which is fine, but this pay-per-view has 8 matches, and only 3 of them are King of the Ring matches. So it's kind of, okay, but we're just old school, and we'd like to see the whole tournament in one night.
I like the turn. I love tournaments, but like you've mentioned before, Vince didn't like
tournaments. No, so we're lucky we got it at all. I guess we should just be happy with the fact that we got the King of the Ring pay-per-view.
3 matches, yeah.
So this was the first semifinal match, and like we mentioned, Triple H got the victory here. It was short and sweet, but Ahmed looked pretty decent again. But I'm always entertained by Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Absolutely.
But it was just okay. It was fine.
It was a quick match.
It was quick, so it's kind of hard to.
There wasn't much to rate here.
No, but I will say that after the match, Ahmed started chasing him to the back, and the crowd was really into that too. So I mean, the crowd was into it. I just don't know why we're still watching Ahmed. I can't.
Well, I think we're still watching Ahmed because the crowd definitely has a different opinion.
We're still watching. We're still watching Ahmed because his contract's not up. That's the only reason.
Well, there's that too, but I mean, if the crowd's behind you, that
it makes a difference.
Stop putting you on TV if the crowd likes you.
Exactly. That is, you are correct. I mean, I can't argue that. And this is hindsight too. I don't think I hated Ahmed at that time, but I wasn't a huge fan. I don't think I had hatred for him, but I was just like, he's okay. I mean, he's a big guy. He's fine, whatever. There again, going back to Superstar Billy Graham, he fits that, even though this is the steroid era, and that was probably part of it too. This was after the steroid trial and everything, and Ahmed was naturally, he's not juicing.
Big.
He was naturally big, and Vince liked the big guys, so that's part of it right there too, is, hey, I can have a big guy that's not, juicing up.
And we've brought it up many times. Ahmed Johnson has the look.
He definitely has the look.
He looks great.
Yeah.
He's huge. He's a big guy. Like you said, no steroids.
Yep.
He doesn't have a personality, and he's just, I guess he hasn't been bad in the ring, but when you have these quick matches, you don't have
He hasn't been as bad in the ring lately. Not as bad.
But we just saw him face all 3 members of the nation, so we got to see a long match. Long
for him.
Different matches. But
yeah,
we got to see him in that ring for a long period of time.
Yeah.
He did pretty well that night too. So, I mean, he can put on a good show here and there, and I'm not hating him as much.
Right.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
And the right man won here, so
the right man definitely won, and I don't remember who wins this King of the Ring, but you remember that Triple H was supposed to win one at one time and got himself
supposed to win
in a little trouble.
Supposed to win the Hunter or the Stone Cold one. But
yes.
Yep. I think it worked out for everybody. Stone Cold winning that.
Right.
I mean, we got a star from that, so hopefully we get Stone Cold here.
By the way, real quick, and
8 matches.
I mentioned this to you off air, and what's interesting, by the way, is once again, Hunter actually was not supposed to be in the King of the Ring tournament. I know that's going to shock you, but he was not an original participant. He ended up replacing Vader. And the reason Vader could not participate in the King of the Ring is because if you remember our last pay-per-view, we watched Shamrock take on Vader. Well, Shamrock legit messed Vader up. He legit injured Vader, and that's why Vader could not be in the King of the Ring tournament. Let's see, it was several. It says he had assorted leg injuries, but he also broke Vader's nose in 4 different places and broke Vader's septum. So there you go. That's what happens when a legit fighter takes on, Vader's a huge guy. It's hard to believe that Shamrock jacked him up that bad. But I told you that Vader looked very mad in that match, and that would be part of the reason why. So Hunter is in because Vader could not participate. So there you go.
I mean, I prefer me some Hunter, so.
For sure. So it's whatever. It was fine. It wasn't boring. But I'm only gonna go 2.5 pedigrees on this one. I mean, It wasn't.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
yeah,
the right man won, but it wasn't much of a match.
Not much to go on.
I'm gonna go with 2 Nights in China.
Oh, there was a sequel? I didn't know about that. Oh, wait, never mind. My bad. Never mind. Cut that.
We didn't record.
All right. Well, let's see what's next. I believe next is our second. I think they go right into the next semifinal match. That way the participants get, a chance to rest. So let's see if that's the case.
I hope the main event is at least the final.
It's not. I hate to burst your bubble, but it's not.
Bullshit!
Spoiler. The main event is the WWF title match. So just
at least it's a title match.
Yeah.
At least it's the title match, but still.
All right. Well, let's see what's next.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
All right, so our next match is the other semifinal for the King of the Ring, and it's Mankind against Jerry the King Lawler, and we're kind of seeing babyface Mankind, and I want to give a little backstory because, again, we don't watch the Raws. So this was actually when they started having JR do sit-down interviews with Mankind to talk about his life and such. And that's why, this is the first time we hear the mention of Mrs. Foley's baby boy, and he kind of does the Cactus Jack bang bang thing in the ring. So this is where they wanted to turn him babyface, and Vince thought the best way to do that was to do these personal sit-down interviews. Long story short, we're like a month away from Dude Love showing up as well. So
we're getting some Dude Love.
We're about
quick?
to, yeah.
Dude Love showed up that quick.
Yeah, as soon as they started doing all these interviews, actually just started out with, him talking about when he was doing backyard wrestling and his character was Dude Love and all that. And as soon as Vince heard it, he was like, "Oh, we have to do this." So yeah, we're not far away from Dude Love. So we do have babyface Mankind, and we do actually hear some cheering. So he comes out first and gives this promo that we couldn't even begin to try to talk about everything that he talked about. It was a great promo, but it was just too much to cover. And then we get Lawler backstage with Todd Pettengill doing an interview, and he just decides he's going to walk out with the microphone and continue to talk trash all the way to the ring to people in the crowd. Jerry Lawler is.
It was great.
Lawler's a national treasure. Come on.
He looked at one guy. He's like, "Does the police know that you're out here today?"
Right. At one point, he said that when Foley's mom looked at him, she looked at his face and his ass and thought that she had Siamese twins. I mean, come on, man, Jerry Lawler.
He told Vince McMahon, he's like, you just don't want to lose Mankind because once he's gone, you're the ugliest son of a bitch.
Yes, like Jerry Lawler is gold. Oh man. And then the match
work as a heel, he is absolutely fantastic.
And he's also good in the ring. And I actually said before this match started, we'd probably short because we forget because Lawler never stopped wrestling. But even at this point, he's probably in his 40s or 50s already. So yeah, a lot of his matches were shorter. But this was longer than the first match. He did the classic reaching in his trunks to get the foreign object. And the best part
Yeah.
about that is I don't think he actually had anything, but he just did it so well that it did look like he was cupping something, but you never actually saw brass knucks or any kind of object because he hit it so well. So that was more classic Jerry Lawler. And some of the shots in this, like Jerry Lawler actually controlled a big chunk of this match because of the foreign object, and they were outside, and he slammed Mick Foley's head into the guardrail not once but twice, and they were hard shots. Like you could hear it. And we all know how crazy Foley is. He probably was like,
So
well,
he was like,
do it, dude. Make it sound good. We want to sell this stuff. Like, there was a pile driver on the outside. Like, I was actually impressed with this. I don't want to say I had low expectations, but I thought we were going to get another, fast,
quick
like,
one.
squash
we were
match.
A quick match to get us to the main,
the
finals.
And this might be the longest Jerry Lawler match we've seen so far. So it actually exceeded my expectations.
I'm trying to remember, is this the first time we've gotten Jerry the King Lawler actually in the King of the Ring? Because a lot of the times he shows up and attacks the King, or does something with against the King.
This was his first.
I don't think he's actually.
This was his first.
You're
right. This is his first time in the tournament, and Vince even mentioned something about how Jerry would love to become a king, in the WWF. But yeah, this is the first time he was in it. Like the very first King of the Rings when he raised all that fuss and tried to say, I'm the king, there's only one king, and blah, blah, but he wasn't actually in the tournament. So, this is his first time in the actual tournament. So, but of course, spoiler, he lost. Not as cool of a mandible claw as we've seen in some of the matches in the past. I think Jerry Lawler
we've had some really cool ones so far, but yeah, that was still cool.
It was still a great match, and he pile drived Mick Foley on the outside, he pile drived him again on the inside, but it's the first time we heard Mrs. Foley's baby boy on commentary. They mentioned how he used to be Cactus Jack, and I'm pretty sure that's the first time we heard that. But again, it goes back to they're doing these sit-down interviews to try to make a connection with the fans, and it worked because they were cheering for Mankind. But you could pretty much put anybody up against Lawler, and they cheer for the other guy, like. Every time.
He's just really good at getting heat.
This is peak, like Jerry Lawler heat. Maybe he's not at the top of his wrestling game anymore, even though this match was really good. But as far as on the mic and being a heel, he's like the top of the top, the cream of the crop, as the Macho Man would say, when it comes to being heels.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, it's kind of weird thinking that he was the face when he was facing Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, but he was.
Other than that, I don't think I've ever seen Jerry the King Lawler as a face.
And really, that was probably part of the shtick with Andy Kaufman wrestling the women, because you had to get people to hate him, more than Jerry Lawler. But Jerry might have actually been a face back then, because when he was in Memphis, he was in Memphis wrestling then, and he's a god in Memphis. I mean, come on, he's up there with Elvis. People may think that's crazy if I say that, but in Memphis, Jerry Lawler is definitely up there on the same level as Elvis Presley. Like, he's that big of a thing there. So, this was actually a really good match. I mean, not only was it entertaining, it was a good match. It's the most we've seen Jerry wrestle. I was very impressed. I guess it exceeded my expectations, even though Mankind was in it.
It did. Because I wasn't, and it's not that I thought that it was going to be bad because of the two people in the ring. I just thought it wasn't going to be much, because I thought it was going to be like the Ahmed Johnson match.
Right. I thought we were just going to get like a quick
and get it
squash match, but no, it was pretty decent. Let's see, if I look it up, Wikipedia says it was a 10-minute match, so it was definitely longer than the first one. 10.5 minutes. So
absolutely.
And now we have our King of the Ring finals set. It's going to be Mankind versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley. But
which I'm excited about.
I am excited about that.
Absolutely.
And Jerry Lawler's just a national. I mean, I showed my piece off earlier, but I actually forgot I had that because I had moved and it was packed away. But I'm pretty stoked that I have his autograph on something, so because he is definitely. Jerry Lawler's amazing. Like, if you want to wrestle, you should watch maybe some of his earlier stuff too, because Jerry was good in the ring. And he was good in this match. It's just, again, the older he got,
Well, yeah,
It's just the way it
age.
is. But as far as on the mic and getting real heat, like real heat and working the ring and working the crowd, like Jerry's a master. Again, like I said, I don't even think he had a prop in his trunks for the object he was using. I think he just sold it good enough that you believed every time he put his fist down there, he was pulling out brass knucks or roller quarters or whatever it was supposed to be to attack
Or
mankind.
or telling women that they should go back to the massage
Right.
parlor, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's just Jerry
Oh,
Lawler's gold. So definitely better than the first match. It had entertainment. It had a good story. It had a good heel. Mrs. Foley's baby boy. Um, Not over the top. I'm not saying it's a 5-star at all, but definitely better than the first match. Very entertaining. I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this 3 kings. Ah, see that? 3 kings. Three kings of. Going to Christmas songs, but yes.
I'm gonna go. I actually thought this was really good, and I'm gonna go with 3.5. Bang!
He did bang bang, which is very cool as well, for sure. And I can't argue that. It was a very entertaining match. We went ahead and watched the segment after the match, and it was a backstage interview
Yeah, it was.
with Brian Pillman. So, by the way, we got to bring this up here. Some more stuff we got to bring up because we don't watch Raw. We have already passed the famous breaking into Brian Pillman's house and the gun. That is
the
already
gun situation has already happened.
The gun situation already happened.
Oh
and,
my!
And actually, at this King of the Ring, it was supposed to be Stone Cold versus Brian Pillman. But the other match that was supposed to be on the card was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. But Bret got injured. And then on top of the injury, we've already passed the famous Raw 2 where Shawn Michaels referenced that Bret was sleeping with Sunny when he talked about his sunny days and his sunny nights. So on top of the injury, Bret was like legit pissed at Shawn. Big surprise. So instead of Shawn versus Bret and Stone Cold versus Brian Pillman, we are getting Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold. So all that happened. Now it probably worked out for the best because Pillman's actually still injured too from his car wreck. So he's limited in what he could actually do in the ring. So it probably worked out for the best. But yeah, we've already had the gun in the house and Bret Hart or Shawn telling Bret Hart that, I know you're sleeping with Sonny. So that changed the entire card. So there you go. There's some backstage facts for you.
We're gonna have to start watching some of these.
Yeah, I wish I would have
these segments.
I wish I would have pulled up my facts notes earlier because we probably should have watched the gun thing, but we can do it later. There's certain
we can totally just watch it now. I believe it's on YouTube.
There's certain things like that we should try to incorporate in, and we can't watch all the Raws. We can, it's already hard enough watching all these pay-per-views. Not that it's hard, but there's no way we could watch all the Monday Night Raws. That's just not something we can work in.
No. But there are certain major scenes that
certain moments, yes.
Promos,
yeah. Or, pulling a gun on somebody, breaking into their house, things like that. So we did watch that backstage segment, which makes me think that a couple of these matches, or at least one or two, were probably thrown together at the last minute because essentially you lost 2 matchups. You lost Stone Cold versus Brian Pillman, and you lost Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. So you had to at least throw together one match to make up for that. So
yeah.
All right. Well,
do you want me to? Do we want to watch the Brian Pillman segment? Oh, it's about 7 minutes.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see what's next.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Here's the cover. Hook to the leg. He did it. He did it.
All right, so our next match, because we got to just fill some time, is Crush and Goldust. All right. I mean, I did look, though, at the rest of the bracket, and both of these guys were in the King of the Ring. And I didn't hear him mention anything, but I'm guessing maybe Crush interfered, maybe they cost each other their matches or something, and that's why we're doing this. But both of these guys were in the tournament.
I don't know about Crush's match, but they showed Goldust. Goldust lost to Jerry the King Lawler
Yeah.
Jerry the King Lawler cheated. Remember,
Cheated. That's right. Yeah, because they were talking about that
put his
earlier.
feet
Yeah.
on the ropes.
So I guess they were just like, you know what, both these guys lost, so we're going to throw them on the pay-per-view. And we got babyface Goldust now, which it just seems a little weird because he's still with Marlena. It felt a little weird. I don't know. And it wasn't a horrible match, but it also, is it just me or did it not?
They are together.
It didn't feel like a pay-per-view match either. I don't know why. Maybe it was Crush. I don't know. But we definitely got some full-on Goldust action in this because he had Crush in the corner and he was on top doing all his and all this, and then he grabbed Crush's hand and made him rub his nipple and made him rub his nipples like it's fine. He's like, "Here, Crush."
It's okay.
I don't know. It was fine. The crowd was into it. Goldust is a great wrestler. Crush isn't bad. Crush just was a case of stuck with bad gimmicks. Like they literally never changed his name and just wanted to change the way Crush looked. Oh, you're Demolition Crush. Oh, you're Hawaiian Crush. Oh, you're Nation of Domination Crush. Oh, you're Biker Gang Crush. Like, I don't know. I think Crush was just a victim of bad gimmicks. You know.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I just was not. This didn't feel like a pay-per-view match, and I felt like there was absolutely no reason I should have cared about this match. That's just my opinion. It felt like a Raw match, not a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, it's almost like they should have made the King of the Ring tournament longer and focused on that for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because now we're just like throwing in matches to fill time because they're like, well, it's King of the Ring, but we want it to be a full pay-per-view, but we're only going to have 3 King of the Ring or another title match. Like you noticed, I guess I'll bring it up before we finish talking about this, that our next segment is backstage interview talking to LOD and Sid because they're going to face the Hart Foundation. And it looked like the Hart Foundation didn't have the tag titles. I saw Davey Boy with the Euro title and Owen with the Intercontinental, but I didn't look like they were tag champs. So why aren't we having some more title matches on here if we're not going to do, King of the Ring all night? I don't know. It's a weird time. And we're so close to the Attitude Era, and now they're like trying to change. Now we're making Goldust a baby face, which that part I'm okay with. It just seems a little weird right now at the moment. I don't know. It was a little strange. It was fine, I guess. It's whatever.
Weird because he doesn't really change. I mean, he did some of Dusty's old moves, but other than that,
and he had
like he changed his gimmick. He's still doing.
Yeah, I mean, he had
just changing his makeup a little bit.
Yeah, he changed his makeup. He had like his hair painted a little different, and they actually brought up the fact that he was Dusty's son, so they're doing that now. But again, like I said with Mankind, I think that's how they're trying to get a connection with the audience, so they'll be behind Goldust, but it just all felt a little weird to me. I'm sorry, Goldust. It was just weird. It was fine, I guess, but it wasn't horrible. I just didn't care, and I think you have to care, right? That's part of wrestling. Like I was not invested in this at all.
I don't think I thought it was as bad as you seem to think it is. I don't think it's a good match, a great match or anything, but I thought it was fine.
The wrestling itself was fine. It just felt out of place. That's all. I'm not saying it was like a negative match, a negative 2-star match or nothing. The wrestling was fine.
My only complaint with those matches is that this is King of the Ring and we only have 3 King of the Ring matches. That's the tournament matches. And that's the only reason I am upset with that.
And this just felt like a filler. Like we need to fill some time.
Well, everything that's not a King of the Ring match is a filler on a King of the Ring pay-per-view, in my opinion. So
except
for going to feel like fillers.
Except for the title match, because it makes sense to have a title match. That's fine.
I guess, but
but I get it. Yeah, we're old school. That's our old school problem, right? It's just what it is.
Yeah. But there's some shenanigans with this.
There were a few shenanigans,
D'Lo and what's the other guy's name?
Clarence Mason. Clarence Mason. Yeah.
Clarence Mason are like surrounding Marlena, which was not creepy at all.
Totally okay.
And, yeah, it was very. But that's what you do when you're heels. And they're just surrounding Marlena, and then Goldust comes out and gets behind D'Lo. For some reason, Clarence doesn't do shit,
Right.
But the audience, however,
Yeah, you hear the audience
starts
literally
yelling.
hear
It's like Goldust is right behind you.
Right.
Goldust is right behind you. You're in trouble now.
Be
But it didn't
careful.
actually. It didn't sound like it sounded like they were legit warning him
Yeah.
that Goldust is behind you. It's like, so are you a fan of the nation?
Right. Like you're
creeping on
helping
Merlina?
the heel. What's going on here? Like it was fun. I mean, it did have some entertainment value. That's for sure. And it was fine. I'm probably just being overcritical, which I do sometimes. I can admit that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah. I can admit that. So, I mean, to me though, it wasn't. Yeah. I'm just gonna have to go with yeah, 2.5 nipple rubs. That's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, I thought I would go higher than you, but I think I'm going to stay with 2.5.
Yeah.
Boomer's clearly crushed.
I'm crushed. I'm crushed by this match.
You're
Oh,
crushed by Crush.
I'm crushed by Crush. And like we mentioned, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, but we did watch that little segment afterwards, and it's just talking about the 6-man tag, which I believe is next. Is we're going to see LOD team with Sid to take on the Heart Foundation. So that's all the segment really was.
Actually, I do want to talk about this
Okay.
because when LOD is on the mic, I got flooded back to the old wrestling, old WWF. I got flooded back to the times when literally nobody had an actual personality and everybody just screamed on the mic.
Oh yeah, because Hawk was on there. Yeah.
Hawk and Animal, they just like, oh, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
And I'm
And then
like,
and then you got Sid in the background going, "You're lucky I don't got a softball game, so I'm here."
well, he started yelling, but even he like does his. He stopped at doing the yelling, and at the very end went to that lower register.
His
like,
quiet, yeah.
His
Yeah.
little whisper thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, you could tell that Sid was kind of going back to the old ways, but then brought it back to what, modern, or not that this is modern anymore, but you know what I mean. And then we get good promos from Owen Hart and British Bulldog and
Yeah. And Jim the Anvil's back. Jimmy Anvil's back, and
Jim
hey,
the Anvil, I mean,
we're getting ready to see a match, and you'll get to see if they're wearing any pink and black, or if you got to get mad because they don't have one Heart Foundation colors.
I will be upset if there's no pink. I need some pink.
I guarantee you there's going to be pink. I'm guessing Anvil will probably actually have one, like his old school Heart Foundation when him and Brett were a tag team, would be my guess. So
If there's no pink, Steven Tyler is going to come out there and start charging the ring.
Pink is my favorite color. All right, well.
It goes with that question. I can't do this.
This guy, we can't take this guy anywhere. All right, well let's see if there's any pink, and if there's not, this is going to be a very low ranked match, no matter how good it is. If there's no pink, it might be the first negative in the history of our show.
It's gonna be 0 pink. That is what the rating's gonna be.
Zero pink. Boy, let's hope there's some pink for their sakes then.
Okay, okay.
Let's check it out.
All right.
Having no problem with that balance man. Oh,
All right, our next match was a pretty fun and entertaining one. We got some interviews before the match, and I loved how you said that when the LOD was on the mic, it reminded you of the old days of wrestling, the old days of the screaming promos.
Yeah,
you know. But that's well, of course, but Sid changes. You mentioned that too. Like Sid will yell, but then he gets down into that quiet, psycho Sid whisper kind of.
Yeah.
But LOD was always, especially Hawk. Hawk was always really loud and just like to yell, and sometimes it didn't even make sense. Of course, depending on how much cocaine he had, I'm sure that affected the promo. But the good, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
But the good news here is there was pink. I just want to mention that real quick.
There was pink.
We got pink. I didn't want you
got
to
pink.
go. Of course, not with Davey Boy, because anybody that knows and has followed wrestling, Davey Boy always wore the colors of the British flag. Like his gear might have changed, but it was always, which is kind of funny. Is it a coincidence that they are also red, white, and blue? I'm just saying, like, you look at him and think, oh, is he a patriot? No, he's not. He's British. It's just the same colors. It's fine.
Well,
A
in
little
fairness, we broke off from England, so
true, true. So did we steal from them or did they steal from us? That's the question. That's world history.
I'm
You know, we
pretty.
won't worry about that.
I'm pretty positive we stole from them.
Right.
If anybody's stealing, it was
If
us. I
anybody's
mean,
stealing.
I'm pretty sure the British flag's been around longer than we've been a country.
Right, right. I'm sure that's
I
the
could be
case.
wrong.
You
I
know, you
could be
never know.
wrong.
But
I don't
here's a
know how
little
long the British flag has been around.
backstage fact for you that makes me kind of sad, but this is the last time we're gonna see Sid on a pay-per-view. This
Really?
this is Sid's last pay-per-view with the WWE. He's gone a couple weeks after this, and he doesn't come back. This is it. No more Sid. Bummer, right?
Yeah.
He goes back to WCW, so after he's done with softball, I'm sure. But you know,
He never comes back to WWE?
if he does, he's never on pay-per-view again. This is legit his last pay-per-view. I'm sure he made some more appearances here or there or whatever, but yeah, this is his last WWF pay-per-view. So bye bye Sid. Bye.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember Sid, but I didn't think I watched this far back.
Right. Right. Yeah, he ends up going back to WCW, and actually, I think because this is '97, right? So another year or two is when he breaks his leg. That might have been '99 when he tries to do that top rope move in WCW, and everybody's, I think, has seen the gruesome Sid leg break. Have you seen that before? Yeah. So, but this was a entertaining match. It got chaotic a couple of times. You know, the ref couldn't control everything because there's so many people. And I gotta say that I know they're not the NWO and they're not the Horsemen, but the Evil Heart Foundation was one of my favorite factions. I don't know what it was about them, but I love me some Evil Heart Foundation. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And the crowd, man, like the crowd was into it, obviously, and everybody loves LOD, but Sid just, man, did they love Sid. I mean, I like Sid too, but he got some really big, huge pops in this match. You would have thought Hulk Hogan was in the ring, like. But we had talked, of course, like Sid, even when he was the bad guy, was getting good crowd reaction. Like people just liked Sid. He was just one of those characters that appealed to everybody, you know. And LOD was always one of my favorite tag teams. I mean, they're big guys, they're intimidating, and they kick everybody's butts. Apparently, they give women, doomsday devices when they're bouncing in the bars. I remember we discussed that before on the show. That you like to picture that when they're bouncing, and like Hawk sees someone on somebody's shoulder, he's just like, I gotta do it. I gotta give you the doomsday device. But entertaining match, I thought. It was a good. This is probably about the middle of the pay-per-view, so this is kind of like the bring everybody up, get them kind of excited match, I guess. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was a fun match. Everybody in this match is a good wrestler. Yeah, and the story makes sense.
Match
So
is a legend. I would say they're a legend.
Oh yeah, I would say so. Yeah, definitely. Just because Jim the Anvil never got like a huge single push, but he's still a legend. He's definitely a legend. The Heart Foundation, original Heart Foundation, this Heart Foundation, definitely a legend of the ring for sure. And it was just a fun, chaotic, typical 6-man tag team with a lot of good moves. We saw one of the best choke slams we've seen in a while from Sid. He actually nailed a good one for once. And of course, there were plenty of shenanigans with distractions and the Heart Foundation just being the Heart Foundation.
Right.
Everything you would expect. And
my only complaint was the end.
Okay.
Only complaint. Owen Hart does a sunset flip power bomb.
And yeah.
And he misses.
He did. He missed catching him. He misses
striking of Sid, but then he grabbed him anyways and still managed to do it.
Yeah,
he saved it, but it just didn't flow like it was supposed to.
It didn't flow like it was supposed to, but I'm sure that's just how they're trained, right? The show must go on. You just got to keep.
You got to keep going.
Yep, and a lot of times it's better to act like it didn't happen, even though watching it back, we're like, oh man, that's horrible. But you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I agree. That kind of messed the finish up a little bit. But
a little bit.
Nothing over the top, but just a good, solid, entertaining 6-man tag. I mean, nothing to complain about for sure. Uh, the biggest thing, like I said, is Sid was the most popular guy in the ring. Like, my goodness. And it's the last time
People
we're going to
loved
see
him,
him.
and now
Yeah.
he's gone.
Sid's biggest problem is always himself. I mean, obviously. And, I was a big WCW guy too, and Sid was prominent in WCW, but he had way more, like, he was never the WCW. Well, yeah, he was. Maybe towards the end he was the WCW World Champion, but he had more title reigns, and he was more of a main event guy in WWF than he ever was in WCW. So, yeah. My biggest memory of Sid from there is when I was a kid. I know they're not the original people, and I may get some hate, but Sid was a member of the Four Horsemen when I remember starting to watch WCW. So that was like my first memory of Sid, was him being a member of the Four Horsemen. So
That's kind of weird to think of.
yeah, well, that's just the one I remember. Was Barry Windham was a horseman, Sid was a horseman. It was Ric Flair, Barry, and Sid. That's the first version of the Horseman I remember. Arn, of course. Arn, Flair, Barry, Sid. Yeah, that's the first. So, but Sid had a way better run with the WWF, that's for sure. But yeah, just a fun match. Not a whole lot to cover in it, really. The spot in the end did kind of mess it up, but the chokeslam was real nice. He was
that
actually
was a nice chokeslam.
He
I
chokeslam
don't feel like
Bulldog.
we've seen a lot of good chokeslams so far.
No, we haven't.
Even by Undertaker.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it's because Undertaker keeps trying to chokeslam people that are way
too big
to be chokeslam.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. If the sunset flip would have been a little bit better, it would have capped it off even more. But solid match, entertaining. The crowd was into it. Good wrestling, and yeah, I'm gonna give this 3 choke slams. How's that?
I'm giving this 3 botched flips.
3 botched flips. I thought you were gonna give it like 3 pink trunks or something. I guess you didn't get 3. You only got 2. But
well, you gotta live in the now, man. I was complaining about the pink trunks. I got the pink trunks.
Pink.
I don't need to harp on it.
It's
I don't
my
need to harp on it.
favorite color.
Originally, I did plan on doing like something Steven Tyler or something.
Right.
Aerosmith
little Aerosmith reference, but we already got it in, so that's okay.
But then I went with the botched.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. You're going to have to save some anger because I know that our next match is the King of the Ring Finals, but there's 3 matches left on the pay-per-view. So how does that make you feel?
You motherfuckers.
It's not even the pre-main event. It's it's before
what is wrong with this?
Before the pre-main event, so
let's have a pay-per-view about the King of the Ring and
we're going to put it on
that King of the Ring.
Yeah, we're going to put it on third to last. Yeah.
I'm very upset.
So the question we have ahead of us is, who will be the King of the Ring? Mrs. Foley's baby boy or Hunter Hearst Helmsley?
And I just realized something.
Yes, sir. What'd you realize?
We only had 3 matches?
Yeah.
We still almost have 2 hours of this pay-per-view.
Well, there's 2 really long matches, so.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, let's watch it.
Let's see who becomes King of the Ring. Oh, right. So our next match was the finals for the King of the Ring, and of course they showed us how Mankind and Triple H both got Triple H. He's still Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but anyway, how they both got there, and good match, right? This was a good King of the Ring finals for sure. We should say it was a 3-way though, because China got involved just a little bit of.
Well, you know what they say. It's not gay when it's in a 3-way.
Hey.
With the honey in the middle, there's some leeway.
And I think we kind of talked about it. I don't think we have, because there was actually a spot where China interfered in the match and the ref saw her. Well, not completely, but he knew China helped. And I was waiting for her to get thrown out. I don't think we've seen that yet, where people have been.
Well, I think they tried to, and then she came back, didn't she?
I don't think so. I think she just went to the other side of the ring. He just told her to back up. But I'm talking about as far as them actually, get out of here.
Yeah, but you try to tell China to do something.
Well, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, that ref was like, I'm not.
All of our asses, or could have.
Oh, yeah.
At one time.
And she'll prove that. The longer she's there, right? Yeah. Definitely the first the first female I remember getting actually into. Well, she was in the Royal Rumble. We're gonna get to all that, but she was in the Royal Rumble. She was Intercontinental Champion. So yeah, that's definitely some of the firsts that China did. Speaking of that, this is totally random, but our local promotion, ASWA, at their next event, they're having an intergender match. They are having, yes, they are having a woman against a man at their next show. So it's becoming more and more a thing. But another great match, and I tell you, we know how crazy Foley is. He took 2 more of those shots to the guardrails outside, right to the head, like Mr. Insanity over here. Oh, Mick, what do you?
You think that Foley's mother would be very disappointed?
I just have to tell you that the more we watch this old stuff and seeing Foley today, and I know we've brought it up before, but I don't care what he looked like as far as not being the big physical, like Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior body type or whatever, but the fact that he went through all this stuff and the man's brain still functions normal and he can still walk shows you that he's one of the toughest people in the world. I don't care what nobody says.
I don't think anybody's going to argue that he's not the toughest son of a bitch in there.
He should have brain damage and trouble talking, you would think, after the stuff.
He should.
And like these are legit shots. Like I talked about it before that this is the whole reason he lost his job in WCW because they're like, you're too crazy. You can't just be doing this stuff. We're not gonna. And then he went to ECW for a while. And you probably didn't watch a lot of ECW, but
no.
That's where he went initially, and of course, Cactus Jack fit in perfectly in ECW. But what happened was it came to a point where he was just one of the other guys, because everybody did extreme stuff. So Foley's gimmick before he left ECW, he ended up being a guy that wouldn't do the hardcore stuff because he knew that's what the fans wanted. I mean, it was a great gimmick. He was like the anti-hardcore guy. Yeah, he would do like arm bars and headlocks when everybody wanted to see him like do crazy, so that's a whole other story. But yeah, he did that in ECW to make himself stand out. But another
great heel move.
It is a great heel move, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean,
you want to see me take this steel chair?
Right.
No,
I'm not gonna do it. You want to see me use this barbed wire bat? Absolutely not. No. So anyway,
you don't deserve it.
Of course, we had the storyline here where Foley was already injured from his match with Jerry Lawler, and so going into the match, he was of course hurting. But it was a good match, man. Come on, it's Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Mick Foley, Mankind, whatever you want to call them. It was a great
They
King
just
Ring
were
final.
at the wrong spot of this pay-per-view.
Right, because there's still 2 more matches. Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
Luckily, those 2 matches involve Stone Cold, Undertaker, and
Shawn Michaels,
and Farouk.
And Farouk. Yeah. So, and again, it'll be interesting to see how the Shawn and Stone Cold match plays out, knowing that originally they both had 2 other matches that were planned. So, and of course, we actually paused it, but they're getting ready to show us a video package of why we're getting Stone Cold versus Shawn. So, I'll be interested to see how they built that story up so quick when they had to change their plans. But
right.
But this was a very good match, very entertaining match. Mick Foley hit one of his elbows on the outside, and I didn't think he was going to be able to make it. I didn't think he could make it that far, but he did. I mean, Hunter was pretty far away from the apron. It's not like he was right there. He was almost to the ramp, and Foley nailed that. But I think it was probably the scepter. I think his scepter is what...
You think it was the scepter? You think it could have been the scepter?
I mean...
Maybe.
I think China might have thought the match was over already. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, she kind of picked the scepter up. It kind of got destroyed a little bit. And the funny thing, though, is he took that scepter shot and it got put back in the ring, and Triple H tried to pin him, and he still kicked out.
I think what happened is China was like, I heard you wanted this, Mick Foley. Here, I'm going to give it to you because I'm a sweet and lovely woman.
Right, I'm just helping you out. I just wanted to show you what the scepter looked like up close.
She's just real kind.
Yeah, that's all.
Then she tripped, fell, and broke it.
And broke it. That's what happened. Yeah. It was all just an accident, I'm sure.
100%. 100%.
Sure it was. We didn't get to see as cool of a mandible claw. It did get slapped on at one point, but it wasn't as cool as the last few he's done, like out of nowhere. But he did catch Triple H off guard with a mandible claw. But it didn't end the
in
match.
Fairness, he didn't win, so.
No, he did not. Spoiler: the new King of the Ring is China. I mean, Triple H won the King of the Ring and made up for that win he was supposed to get anyway. I mean, but let's be honest. We're glad that he didn't win it in '96, or we would have never got Stone Cold Steve Austin. Nice graphic, and I'm glad you pulled that up because that unbelievable, Wish WWF logo that they put on top of the crown was just amazing.
Yeah.
Like Triple H loved this stuff so much that he decided to destroy the crown too. He's like, I'm not wearing this crown. Did you notice how short?
I don't give a shit about that.
Did you notice how short the robe was too? Like it didn't even it barely went past Triple H's waist. Like you see the evolution of these crowns and stuff every year, and it's like at first they tried to make a really big deal out of it. Now they're just like, yeah, I don't know, whatever. Throw something together. Make sure our logo's on the crown so it looks amazing. It doesn't look amazing, not at all. It does not. But good match, and Triple H was deserving of the King of the Ring title. I'm so excited because we just know Triple H is so close. DX is so close. Yeah, I can't wait.
It's coming soon.
It's
coming soon.
It's right around the corner, but I will admit that I'm not even mad about the interference from China because this is just how we are getting introduced to this character, and they're making it known that yes, she's a woman, but she's the enforcer. She's definitely the bodyguard, the enforcer, the keeper of Triple H in more than one way because she's playing the game on screen and behind the scenes, if you know what we mean.
Yeah.
So,
and another thing we're sneakily getting close to?
What's that?
Triple threat matches.
Right. We had this discussion. Yes, we are getting close to that. We won't see the very first one because it's on a Raw. Remember, we looked that up.
I know.
But yes, we are getting close
happens, to that. I bet we'll get one. We'll start getting them in paper.
Start getting them more frequently. Yeah, for sure. I don't doubt that a bit. So, but overall, a good match, an entertaining match. Of course. Yeah. I mean, this was kind of.
Of course, it's more frequent when it has been 0.
Right.
So one pay-per-view will be more frequent. So
I mean, this was kind of a triple threat match. It was more like a handicap match, but I'm not even hating.
We've had handicap matches.
We have. Anytime it's China's at ringside, it's definitely a handicap match. That's for sure. But but this was good and entertaining and good wrestling in it. And some of those spots just looked like Foley's insane, but it just makes him that much better. I don't know. But I'm torn. I feel like I'm giving everything. Well, there's a few low ones, but I feel like I'm going with the same numbers over and over. But I don't know. I'm gonna give this 3 crowns ordered off Wish. That's.
I'm giving this 3.5. I just can't wait. Oh wait, I am king. No, I'm not. I lost. He's king. He's Scar.
Oh, this guy.
Triple H's Scar.
He's Scar.
Yeah, during Mankind's great promo, he brings up, he said one of his favorite quotes from a movie, I just can't wait to be king.
Right?
It's great.
It's good stuff because we're actually getting we're getting early peeks too of later Mankind, sweatpants and tie Mankind. So yeah, it's very interesting. We've talked about it before. That's what makes this fun too. Going back and watching this and seeing how their characters
watching the evolution
change and the evolution of them. Yeah, definitely. Can't wait to get to evolution either, but that's several years away.
I'm excited about that one a lot because I did not watch wrestling at all during that time.
Yeah, so you missed.
So I know of evolution, but I never got to actually experience and enjoy it. So I am really looking forward to some evolution.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, it's just it's a period of wrestling I didn't see. So I know a decent amount about evolution. I just never actually watched it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't watching wrestling at the time, so
Right.
I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be good stuff. That's actually one of my favorite entrance themes is Evolutions for sure. So yeah, that's right around the corner too. But we have crowned our King of the Ring, but yet we have 2 matches left. So what's wrong with this pay-per-view? But we know what's next. Next is Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels. It has to be good, right?
Woo!
It's got to be.
I hope so.
It's 2 of the best
It's gotta
ever.
be.
Yeah, let's see what happens. There can't be. All right, so before our next match, I don't know how I forgot this angle. It's amazing how you go back and watch this stuff, and right away I was like, oh, I remember this. But so at this time, Stone Cold and Shawn decided to put aside their differences to take out the Hart Foundation and actually won the tag titles. Yeah, ish. And actually won the tag team titles. So this is the first time ever, at least on a pay-per-view, that the tag team champions are facing each other one-on-one. They interviewed both of them before the match, and they of course talked all their crap, but and then as soon as they get to the ring, like before the match even starts, a fan tries to enter the ring, uh, and it was a young gentleman with Down syndrome, and he was obviously a Shawn Michaels fan, and he wanted to help whoop Stone Cold's butt.
Yes, he did.
And the only part about it I was watching, kind of cringing, was like, I get it. Security has to do their jobs. You don't know what's going on, but Shawn actually ended up going out and intervening because they had him on the ground. Thought they were gonna cuff the poor kid. Like, I mean, obviously,
what do? You can't let the kid go and
security,
attack your superstars.
right?
I mean,
Security had to do their job, but that's why Shawn went out there to get into it and just to help escort the kid away from ringside. Because yeah, you have to do your job, but it was just kind of
still
like,
looked like he wanted to kick somebody's ass even as his mom was helping him.
yeah, he was angry. They didn't want none of that. That's for sure. But man, what a hard hitting match. A great match, hard hitting match. The story was good because these two guys, they have a common goal, but yet they have problem with each other, and just the fact that you're watching the tag team champions destroy each other, and even in their interviews they're like, you guys don't want to beat each other up. What about your tag titles? And of course Stone Cold's like, well, hell yeah, I want the belt because it means more money if you're a champion. So of course I want the belt.
I'll keep him around so I won't kick his ass too bad.
Before the match even happened, I should mention the whole entire Hart Foundation came out and gave this big long speech about the next in your house, which is Canadian Stampede, and they challenged any 5 superstars to face them at the next pay-per-view. Brett went like full Brett tried to say in your house the first time and went like full Canadian. It was in your hoose, and then he said it again so he could make sure it sounded like house instead of hoose. In your hoose. I'm mad at you, don't you know? I don't. But man. But so that happened first. So basically it was, listen, I'm not trying to complain, but apparently Vince had this mindset, like, we got to make sure this pay-per-view's 3 hours, so we're just going to do some shit to fill the time. Like, before this match started, would you say you were like, man, there's over an hour left? How in the world? Yeah, because they filled it with 45 minutes of talking and whatever. Like, I get it. We're trying to build a story.
I don't hate it, though. I mean,
maybe I only hate it because it's really early in the morning. Maybe that's the reason.
Well, it is late.
Or really late at night, whichever way you look at it.
But let's be honest, this is the kind of shit is the reason why we prefer wrestling over MMA.
True.
If we didn't like this promos and, getting fucking legendary Bret Hart talking shit, what the hell are we doing
and
here
his Canadian strong voice,
Yeah.
In your
what are we doing as wrestling fans if we have an issue with this? Come on.
True.
You might as well go watch CM Punk suck it.
Hey, let's not even talk about Punk, all right, buddy? Yeah, she's been in the news enough. Yeah, somebody on Facebook had to post, CM Punk's the first one to appear in a WWE game, and a UFC game, and an AEW game. Well, first of all, AEW Fight Forever still hasn't come out. I'm pretty sure it's called Not Going to Be Released Forever should be the name of that game. So let's not even... They might be taking Punk out. Maybe that's part of the reason. They announced that game 2 years ago. I don't even think it's real. So let's not jump the gun. But anyway, this was a really good match. This was a hard-hitting, we'll get to the end in a second, no low shenanigans, but this was a match like you believed that these two hated each other. And as far as I know, in real life, these two didn't have issues. It was Brett and Shawn that had the issues. But man, they were beating the hell out of each other. The crowd was into it the entire time, and the ending was pretty good. I mean, I didn't hate it. What did you think about that ending? I mean, it was a little crazy, but I wasn't mad at it.
I think it made sense for the story.
Yeah, to help continue the story.
The fans were not a fan.
The funny thing is, I don't think we talked about it on air, but I had mentioned, like, I wonder who took the titles from Davey. Well, maybe I did mention it during the show. I don't remember, but I was mentioning, like, who took the titles from Davey Boy Noah, and they don't have them. And, well, here you go. It was on a Raw where Stone Cold and Shawn reluctantly, and it was funny when they were showing that back, too, because they just won the tag titles. The Hart Foundation starts beating up on Shawn, and Austin just walked away with his belt like, yeah, whatever. Go ahead and beat the shit out of him. I don't care. Do what you got to do. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But yeah, the crowd was super into this. It was a great match. I mean, it's two of the best of all time. I had no doubt it was going to be a great match. But the whole thing at the end was the ref bump happened, and Stone Cold hit a stunner, and there was no ref to count the pin, so he decided he was just going to stun the ref, which, yeah, that makes sense. He's not awake. I'm just going to knock him out more.
You're taking forever.
You're taking forever, so I'm just going to stun you. You know?
Then Shawn gets pissed and super kick.
Yeah. Shawn hits Austin with a super kick, and there's no one to count the pin. And here comes the other ref, and he ends up super kicking that ref. And then Earl Hebner comes out.
In fairness, that ref was supposed to,
Well, that's what happened. You're right.
Count the pin for Shawn.
You're right. I forgot that part.
Go help.
Yes, the second ref came out and didn't even try to count. He went to check on the other ref. I forgot that part. That's why Shawn was like, "All right, buddy,
this is bullshit. All right, here's my."
So then Earl comes out and disqualifies them both. And I don't know, I can't remember if they mentioned it on a commentary, but at that time Earl was the senior official, so he could make that call. We got to live in that kayfabe world there. He was not the original ref for the match, but he's the senior official. And I mean, they both should have been disqualified. They both put their hands on refs. I mean, what? But even the subtle thing.
I thought we were going to get a little bit of solidarity between Stone Cold and Shawn, because I thought they were both going to do their finishers on Earl.
Right.
Like, that's what I expected. I expected.
Yeah, you're waiting on like a combo. Yeah.
Then he jumps, turns around, and then gets a super kick by Shawn.
Yeah.
But that is not what happened.
Even the subtleness at the end when they were going to leave, and like neither one of them wanted to walk in front of the other guy. Like, hell no, I'm not walking with you behind my back. That's not, so they actually walked out side by side because they don't trust each other. So yeah, it was a good story. And like you said, I kind of thought they were going to double team Earl at the end too. But Austin actually tried to cheap shot Shawn with a belt. Like, they just kept.
Yeah.
And as they're walking back to the locker room, Vince is like, well, I think they respect each other after this. They don't like each other, but they respect each other.
Sure.
But it made all this vivid to me. I actually remember back in the day watching that Monday Night Raw when these guys won the tag titles. Not the first time Austin's going to have a tag title with a weird and unusual partner. That's going to happen again. I don't know if we all remember that title reign with Dude Love, but that's right around the corner. That's about to happen too. So
I know. When I was looking for these pictures, I got that. I don't remember it, but
yeah.
While I was looking for pictures, because I looked up Stone Cold Tag Team.
Right.
Stone Cold and Dude Love showed up. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, that's an interesting picture.
Well, that's because Rock and Sock became way bigger than those two. So, and I don't think they were champions very long. But from what I remember, Austin and Dude were good together too, because there was some of that comedic mix in there. Like, Austin had zero interest in it, and yeah. But we're gonna get to that pretty soon. But a very good match, and here again, though, is the problem. Like, we already had our King of the Ring finals. Now a world title match has to follow this, and I just don't know if Undertaker and Farouk can follow this match, wrestling wise, storytelling wise. This was just a really good match. I was invested the whole time. Even though I watched this years ago, it's old, but that's what we say all the time. Like, even watching this stuff back, you want to feel things. That's what wrestling's about, people. Like, you want to be invested in the match. You want to feel those moves when they're hit. You want to feel those emotions, and these guys nailed it for sure, without a doubt, hands down.
Of course. Yeah.
Very, very good match.
100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this 4 Stone Cold Stunners, baby. There weren't 4 in the match, but I'm giving it 4 stunners anyway.
All right. Well, then I think I'm going to give it 4 Sweet Chin Musics.
There you go. That's the way to go. Why not, right?
We'll tag it up.
We'll tag. Don't tell me you're trying to take out another partner. You've already done that, okay? No chair shots to me, buddy. I'm not falling for that one. If anybody knows about tag team dismay, this guy does right here. I'll tell you. I don't want a chair shot. I'm good. So get oh. All right, so it was our main event, the championship match between Farouk and The Undertaker. And to be honest, the best part about all this is we are starting to get this. Yeah, we're getting the tease of. So Paul Bearer's back with Undertaker, and he's talking about this secret that he has over the Undertaker's head, and this is the early seeds being planted for Kane. So that's the best part of the storyline. Unfortunately, the match, it wasn't that good.
There was one cool spot I recall, and that was when Undertaker's doing. I'm assuming they didn't call it old school back then.
Right.
But when he's walking the ropes and he sees a bunch of the Nation of Domination on the outside, and instead of attacking Farouk, he jumps out backwards and attacks the rest of the nation.
Yeah, that was probably the best spot. That was after we got through the 25 sleeper holds that we had to watch. And
no, I think that was before.
Oh, well, whichever way it went. And you guys had to follow Shawn and Stone Cold, so I guess that didn't help.
Well, they followed it up with a match with long periods of sleeper holds, and they were trying to put us to sleep.
Yeah.
They were doing a great job with that.
Didn't need any help. Didn't need any help with that. That's for sure. So, it was what it was. But, man. I mean, the King of the Ring match was better than this, and that wasn't the main event. The last match was better than this. Wasn't the main event. Like, yeah. It was kind of disappointing. Yeah, kind of disappointing, especially because it's The Undertaker. And I like Farouk, too. But
I do like Farouk.
Even with the nation shenanigans, it didn't matter. It was kind of boring. Kind of boring. And that's not just because we're tired. It was just kind of boring.
It was very boring.
Yeah.
I think with Farouk, I like his character. And he's normally, he's not bad in the ring. This was just a slow match.
Yeah, it was, unfortunately. And, it was kind of good at the end when Undertaker won. Spoiler. And Paul Bearer told him he had to continue to choke slam Farouk. He made him do it like 2 times in a row or 3 times in a row, but then of all people to come out and stop someone from destroying him, Farouk, it was Ahmed. That made 0 sense. The same guy that's been feuding with the nation is going to come out and tell you to stop beating him up. That didn't make any sense to me. And we go off the air with Ahmed nailing a Pearl River plunge on The Undertaker. Now, I believe, even though now I have a little bit of different vision, I even believe that 1997, no part of me was going to be like thinking here, oh man, Ahmed's going to beat Taker for the title, because no one would think that. That's not a thing. Like, why are we even doing this? Why is Ahmed saving the nation? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So, I don't know. It's whatever. It's fine. It was just weird. Wasn't Ahmed a weird choice to come out and stop The Undertaker from doing that? I mean, I get it that he's over, but storyline-wise, doesn't make sense.
Actually, I think storyline-wise it does make sense because Ahmed does have a relationship with the nation and Farouk. And I understand that it doesn't make sense to be like, hey, Undertaker, stop attacking. But if you look at this as like the hero journey or the hero side,
yeah,
he's looking at Undertaker. You're being a heel right now, or you're being too much. You're
right.
This is overkill.
Yeah,
you can't do that. You got to save your own soul.
Yeah,
even though you're attacking an evil soul, whatever, you know?
Right.
So I think that's where the story lies.
Yeah. I get it.
Now,
Yeah.
to stop Undertaker by doing the pro version, or, attacking him, but I don't know.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was
But it does
interesting.
make, as much as on Ahmed, it does kind of make a bit of sense because he has been part of the storyline with
The Nation
of Domination.
I guess I can see that
So-
that point.
So it's not a random person coming out and being like, "Oh
True.
no, don't do blah blah."
I mean, you look at it at that point, at least
who's literally
it's-
been feuding with the
it
Nation.
is somebody tied in some way. So yeah, I can see that point.
Yeah.
I can see
It's
that
tied
point.
into the story. He's tied into the story.
Right. I guess I can't argue that fact. I guess I was just disappointed. I expected more out of this match, but it is what it is, right? I mean, what do you do? Yeah, you watch a pay-per-view and you move on to the next one. That's what you do. So I don't know.
True.
I mean, as much as I love Undertaker, again, this goes back to that thing we've talked about before. This was the World Heavyweight title match, and it was the main event, and it didn't really live up to that. I'm going to give it 2 teardrops. That's what I'm going to give it. Taker only has 1, but I'm going to give it 2. 2 teardrops.
I'm gonna give this 1.5 NyQuils. That's what this match did. That's what this match did.
Yeah.
Put me to sleep.
For sure. An unfortunate way to end the pay-per-view, but it happens.
I know. And we had 2 high matches.
Yeah, and then
2
this.
great matches.
Yeah.
And then this.
And then this. Very unfortunate. Sorry, Taker. Very unfortunate. Well, then I guess that means it's time to pick some matches.
It is. It is. It is.
Favorite match of the night.
All right, favorite match of the night. This one was actually a little tough for me because I had 2 that I was going back and forth with, but I think that I am going to go with Stone Cold versus Shawn because of all the story that was involved. I almost picked the King of the Ring finals because it was also a great match, but I'm going to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn, tag team champions facing off against each other. It was a really good match, really good story, and a hard-hitting fight, so that is my favorite match of the night.
I am going to go with the final King of the Ring match. And
can't argue that either.
Only because, and I think it only edges out the Shawn Stone Cold match simply because of the ending. I like the Shawn and Stone Cold match, but it does leave you wanting more with the lack of the ending. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the match that actually had an ending. So, I'm going with the Stone Cold and Mankind match.
Can't argue that.
I debated on Shawn, and then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute. I gotta put the ending in, because I was originally, my first thought was like, whichever one you chose, I was picking the other.
Right.
And then you pick Stone Cold Shawn. I'm like, no, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna stick with them. And then I was like, wait a minute, I forgot about how the ending is, and I feel like the other match edges out just because of the lack of an ending.
Can't argue that.
Shawn Stone Cold.
Can't argue that.
Can't teach
All
that.
right. No. All right. Well, let's pick our least favorite.
Worst match of the night.
This one's going to be a little bit easier, and it's kind of funny because he happens to be on our graphic, but I'm going with the main event. Undertaker Farouk. It was the main event. It was the title match, and it was even over Ahmad. This was a bigger disappointment. Worst match of the night was the main event.
I mean, I don't think there's much of an argument for me here. It's if you're so bad you put me to sleep.
Literally, by the way, folks. Literally. Not for long, but literally put him to sleep.
I hate admitting that, but it was just, especially during those, it was just rough.
Yeah, it was.
It was not good. So
no. Sorry.
100% worst match of the night.
I agree. Tough one. Sorry, Taker. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. All right. Let's rank some King of the Rings.
Let us do that.
King of the Ring rankings.
Oh, I was jamming. Okay, well, here we go. King of the Ring rankings. We have 5 of these now, and I'm going to go least favorite to favorite, worst to first, like we do. And at number 5, which will probably never change, don't tell anybody, my least favorite is King of the Ring 3, King Mabel. We all know that one, right? At 4, I have King of the Ring 5, this one. I have it number 4. At number 3, I have King of the Ring 1. At number 2, I have King of the Ring 4, and first place, King of the Ring 2. And, you know, I like to make fun of, I don't know how good this shot will be, I like to make fun of King Mabel, but I actually have the King Mabel figure back there in my case. But that's only because it was a very sought-after figure that people would pay a lot of money for, so I might retire off King Mabel someday, you never know.
So my rankings is King of the Ring 3, obviously, is my least favorite, Mabel. King of the Ring, 4th place, I have Owen Hart. King of the Ring 2. 3rd place, I have King of the Ring 1, Bret Hart. I have this at 2. Even though the ending's terrible, we had 2 really stellar matches in a row on this one.
True.
So, yeah, I have this as my number 2 King of the Ring. And even though the ending, the final match of the King of the Ring with Stone Cold was the worst, it also gave us that iconic moment, which to me propels it to 1. In my opinion.
Can't argue that. Yeah. It was an iconic moment in the sport, so cannot argue that. All right, well, we watched our pay-per-view. We picked some matches. We ranked the King of the Rings. It is time to plug some pluggables.
Oh, well. You can find me at Dragon Blazer Productions on the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube, the TikToks. You can also find me at Dragon Blazer Pro on the Twitters.
Of course, we have the Boomer and Blaze Facebook page. You can follow the show at Boomer_Blaze on the Twitter and the Instas, and at Boomer and Blaze Show on the TikTok. And don't forget to also check out our channel on YouTube, because you've actually finally got to our episodes. At least one, right? You've made it to one actual Boomer and Blaze episode now.
Yep, I have Royal Rumble. I have our first episode, which was Royal Rumble, 1995, and then I was currently working on WrestleMania 11, which such a rough pay-per-view. I forgot how rough it was when we first got back into it.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm working on that. However, this takes precedence because I want to get this edited and out there before Saturday. So that one may be a minute before I finish that.
It's a work in progress. That's okay.
So I'll have the second one out soon, but
we did it again. We did it again.
We did.
And then again, we apologize for missing last week. Stuff happens when you have to have a regular job. If we could get some of that hush money, we wouldn't have to work for a living. You know what I mean? We will shamelessly plug whatever we need to make some sponsorship money. I'm just saying, if you want to, throw it our way,
we are all about shamelessly plugging.
Yes,
I will drink. All about that.
Money. I'll eat your chips on the show. I will drink your pop. Whatever you want me to do, I will.
Well, hell, yeah, we will. I don't give a crap.
Check out my new Project Rock slides. Brought to you by Under Armour. I'm just saying, I could. Anyway, there we go. We need some hush money.
You know what? I don't care if we're like, what was the SNL skit? It's like, if you want us to talk about a great product like Vagisil, we'll talk about it, okay? You know?
Look, I'll sell your shampoo, and I'm bald, but I will sell the shit out of your shampoo. I don't care what you need me to do. Let's bring it on. All right, well, until we get rich, we have to work. It's just the way it is.
Suave shampoo, so good that Boomer still uses it, and he has no hair.
No hair. Oh. All right. Well, it's been another good week. We're having way too much fun with this video podcast, but we're getting into it, getting better every week, right? There's so much you can play with. I got this. I got the setup behind me now. I got me my new equipment. It's coming along nicely.
Yeah, I don't really have a good place to do a setup. I mean, I have a setup, but it would be really difficult to do that while also trying to watch the pay-per-view.
Exactly. But it's fun.
So.
All right. Well, we did it. So we will see you next week. And until then, this has been the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And good night from Dragon Blazer Studios.
Hey everyone, this is Blaze from the Ragin' Blaze and the Boomer and Blaze Show. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wrestling content.